Court is in session. The Honorable Michael O'Sager presiding. You may be seated.
Good morning. We are back on the record in file 24-21841-FC, People of State of Michigan versus Dale Warner. Have just had a brief conversation with the attorneys in chambers. It's my understanding that at this point there are some additional exhibits that the parties have stipulated to in terms of foundation and entry into evidence.
That's correct, Your Honor. We would be stipulating to Exhibit 259 and 261.
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to do outside the presence of the jury then?
Your Honor, I believe we would also stipulate to releasing Giada Rowe from her subpoena.
No objection. Thank you.
Okay, so she will be released from that subpoena, and exhibits 259 and 261 will be admitted. Are we ready to bring the jury back then?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may be seated.
All right, people may call their next witness.
The people would call Detective Daniel Dreyer.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Yes, sir.
You can have a seat.
Can you please state your full name and spell it for the record?
My name is Daniel Drewer, D-A-N-I-E-L-D-R-E-W-Y-O-R.
Where are you employed?
I'm employed by the Michigan Department of State Police.
And what's your title?
I'm currently a detective lieutenant.
How long have you been a detective lieutenant?
For approximately 15 months.
And what was your title prior to that?
Prior to that, I was a detective sergeant.
Okay, and how long were you a detective sergeant prior?
I was a detective sergeant for 3 or 4 years.
How long have you worked for the Michigan State Police in total?
We just eclipsed 12 years, ma'am.
At some point in time, did you become involved in this case?
Yes.
When was that?
That was in March of 2022.
And what was your involvement at that time?
I was a detective sergeant for the State Police Monroe Post, which covers Monroe and Lenawee counties, and the Sheriff's Department the Lenawee County Sheriff's Department had contacted the post and asked for some assistance with this investigation. So I was assigned to assist the detective from the county.
Just you that assisted, or were there other agencies?
In addition to asking us for help, the FBI was also involved.
At some point in time, did you completely take over the investigation?
Yes, that would have been August of the same year.
And when you took over the investigation, what was the first thing you did?
There were a number of administrative things that need to be completed, primarily taking all the current evidence and documents from the Sheriff's Department, inventorying them and entering them into our report writing system and property.
Okay, and did you do that?
Yes.
And what types of evidence did you take from the sheriff's department?
There was a volume of documents, video, surveillance video, body cam video. There was some physical evidence, some things that have been sent to the lab for miscellaneous testing, and electronic media.
When you took over the case and took that evidence, did you start from the beginning, or what was your goal?
Kind of a combination. So we conducted a complete review of everything that we took from the sheriff's department. So that was reviewing all the evidence, all the reports, all the videos, but then also starting our own investigation from the beginning.
And after reviewing at least a portion of that evidence, did you interview the defendant?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
That was in December of 22.
Where was that at?
That was at the Michigan State Police Monroe Post.
And would you say approximately the first 45 minutes or so was just building some rapport with the defendant?
Yes. Yeah, practically the first 45 minutes were not necessarily case-specific, more just introducing myself to Mr. Warner.
Okay. Now we're going to get into the actual details of your investigation at a later point in time, next week maybe. So right now I just want to focus on kind of the interview you did. So when you, after that first 45 minutes, what was the first topic of discussion that you had with the defendant?
That would be the weekend of April 24 and April 25, 2021, which is the weekend that Dee Warner disappeared.
So after the first 45 minutes, did you get some general background information from the defendant, such as the businesses and relationships and finances before you got into the weekend?
Yes.
Okay. And at this time, we'll play the first portion of Exhibit 221.
Why wouldn't you do something to me?
My soulmate, I love her.
Okay. And what do you think should happen to someone that did do something there?
I'm not so sure that someone did anything to her. I think she just left. She was someone. I mean, she obviously had a probably good plan.
Okay.
She left with someone that they did something to her. They didn't. I don't. It was nothing.
Okay. Can you, kind of in your words, can you describe Dee to me as a person?
The most beautiful woman in the world.
And how about her personality? What can you talk about her as a person?
She could be hot and cold.
What do you mean by that?
She could be sweet and seductive and just the nicest person in the world. And she could be saying in 2 seconds.
How would you describe your marriage overall?
I would describe our marriage as a normal marriage. We had a lot of arguments and disagreements, but I mean, business isn't that you run. You're going to have disagreements on things.
Mm-hmm.
And Dee, at our time, we did business in the office. She would bring it home. If you didn't agree with her way of thinking, then she'd keep on until she convinced you what she was saying was right.
Okay. And how would you describe kind of a normal argument with her? What is that like? The two of you and her?
A normal argument?
Yeah, what's a typical argument like for you two?
We started out, she would say, I accuse her of doing something. Or if I catch her, I catch her doing something. No, she told me she was going to go pick something up, but she didn't do it, but she went shopping. I said, how can you get this part? You know, I had to have it. Well, you know, I was busy and I had to go do this. And she, by the end of the argument, she had it completely so far away from the part, it'd be my fault. I walked away.
You're apologizing at the end?
Yes, I apologize. She's a master of manipulating her own.
Are you sure you're not married to my wife? What's going on here? I got the same treatment.
That's why I did the course for 15. I think they're all sisters in the end. Well, that was my biggest thing. We were both home to the counselor. You know, after the fact, you know, she left. The most after you went, hey, no, she left because you were getting better. You were understanding how to talk to her when you had an argument, and you have to, you know, say, okay, honey, and before you get, I would be in the middle of something that she would argue. He says, Dylan, you have to stop. You have to sit down and say, okay, what's bothering me? Let's talk about it. And I would never do that until close to before she left, and that's when I was finally, boom, the light goes on. This is what I gotta do. Men from Mars, women from Venus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have to sit down and talk to her. As soon as I started doing that, she didn't know how to argue anymore. It's like, oh shit, I'm screwed. Because I sat down, okay, Dee, tell me what you're doing, what you need to do, and how we can fix it. And she didn't know how to handle it. And she just get pissed and take off and walk away or leave.
How often did that happen?
Oh, it was once or twice a week. We had an argument over something.
Okay.
I mean, I shouldn't say an argument. We disagree on how to do things, or you know, where this truck is going, or who this guy's going to get done. It was always a disagreement on things that are getting done through business.
Okay. And how often would she, to my understanding, it wasn't uncommon for her to leave for a night and go stay somewhere. How often would that happen?
That was random. I don't know.
If you had to guess, how many times a month?
Once or twice.
Okay. And that was
But
consistent?
it wouldn't be, you know, she would get pissed off and leave, and she'd just go to town with shopping for the day and won't answer the phone. Or if she's really pissed off, she'd take off and go over to Zach's house and stay for a day or two, or you didn't know. I mean, you never knew how long before she'd be back.
Okay.
So that's why I never was worried until Walter someone bought it, and it was wrong because it just took off and come back.
And before, I have a few questions for you. And again, before I ask these, some of these are just reports we have from other people. So me asking it does not mean that I think it's true. I want you to understand that, okay? And I mean that sincerely. So we have reports from different people regarding there being violence in your household historically between you and Dee. Can you describe that to us?
There's no violence. Never know. There was, having a high-leveled conversation back and forth with each other.
Can you describe what you mean by high level?
Just hollering at each other. You know, he would be saying the F-bomb and screaming, hollering, talking along at me, and I'd be hollering back at her. There was never any violence.
And how often would those types of discussions occur?
No, a couple times on the boundary, just happened to depend on if the truck got rolled over that day, or if somebody smashed something up, or if what went wrong in the business.
I see, okay. So what would you say if the person that had given us that information regarding violence in the household was here, what would you say to them?
You know, it's like, he's got to know that hearsay from what someone else told him.
Okay. What can you tell us specifically about the device that was installed on Dee's car, on her Escalade? Some people refer to it as a tracking device. What can you tell us about that? Okay, so we had received information that there was a device installed in the Escalade and that she had discovered it and it resulted in an argument between the two of you.
There's never anything, I never had an argument over the Escalade, the device in there.
Okay, do you know anything about the device in general that she felt was tracking her or something on a vehicle? Is that?
She thought I put one in the Hummer.
Okay, can you tell us a little about that?
I put a diagnostic device you plug into it to see how it's running.
Okay.
There's no run or change in it. She figured it was a tracking device. I could tell where she was at.
Okay, well, why do you think she would feel that way?
She was paranoid. She didn't want anyone to know where she was at, what she was doing. I mean, this is me finding out after the fact.
Okay.
And the Escalade had an OnStar on it, so I could tell where the Escalade was at anytime, every time.
Okay.
I did the last Escalade, not the first one, just the second one.
Okay, and what about there being rumors of her being involved with other men? What would you say to that?
At the time when she left, that was say no, but now I really don't know how to answer that question.
Okay. You've had a lot of time to think about it. Do you think it was possible? Do you think it was true?
I am leaning towards that it was true, but in my mind, I still only think that my wife was true to me.
Okay.
What else? I don't know, until she's here, before I can ask her to confront her. I guess I want to say she's going to see what's on. She tells me otherwise, or there's proof.
Okay. Had that been a suspicion used in the past? Something you had confronted her on prior to this?
Never traded that she would be having an affair with him.
Looking back, were there any indicators that may have been the case back then?
Looking back, there's a lot of things that would make me question, like I say,
What things? Can you describe it to me?
being gone for hours at a time, the vehicle being gone, I mean, not being able to account for where you've been, or not wanting to tell me where you've been.
Okay.
So,
Anything else? Okay.
I mean, this is all stuff that I found out in the last 3-4 months, you know. And a lot of it, maybe it's all this, there's so many rumors and so much shit going on.
I'm sure.
Like I say, I'm not going to believe any of it until she's in front of me and I can ask her.
Several people have reported instances where you would show up to where Dee was unannounced without having knowledge of your announcement or where she was. Can you explain that to us a little bit?
That's news to me.
Okay, so I can think, correct me if I'm wrong, Parker, but one specific example was she was out to lunch with someone and she had made a statement about not wanting to be around you. You're having some argument or disagreement on that specific day, and you had showed up to where that lunch was occurring.
That's completely.
Okay. And again, I'm just asking what's been reported to us. I'm not saying there's any truth to it, okay? And there's a lot of things like that it's important to hear your side, because when you're only getting one side, it makes it look horrible, right? So we want your input. Can you think of a reason why, other than it's obvious, but can you think of a reason why someone would say that about you?
I mean, unless she was saying something negative about me to that person, then
Okay.
that's a huge thing in a high-functioning board of my personality. That's what they do.
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
My wife, I figured her diagnosis is a high-functioning board of personality. That's what they do.
Okay.
Is they put the other person down to everyone around.
Okay.
That's what characteristics are.
In some previous interviews and to other people, you had stated that you were not going to get divorced. But that has been a topic of discussion. Can you explain that a little bit to us?
I don't really have this topic of discussion.
Well, that was something that Dee had made sentiments and remarks to other people that was an interest of hers, and that you two had argued or discussed. I don't want to use the wrong word. Can you describe that to us a little bit?
Divorce was a word that we didn't bring up between each other because that was, we were going to counseling and had a lot of things going on. And that was one of the things that we told each other, we're never going to say to each other's divorce, because that's not what either one of us wanted to get resolved. And once you say the word divorce, then you just start throwing it. It's like a word that you can't take back. I say, I hate you. Well, that's in your mind now. You can never take that back. You know, we're going to counseling. If you say, I want a divorce, just because you're pissed, it's in that person's mind now forever.
Yeah.
So you can't get it out. There's certain things that you don't want to cross the line and say because you can't ever take them back. And that's one of those things that Dee and I had between each other. We're never going to tell each other that. And it came out once in a while. But, you know, with the counselor, you can't, there's words that you can't say because you can't take them back. That's the understanding where we were at.
Okay. A couple of things I didn't cover with the business, I'm sorry. Can you kind of briefly describe the business entities you currently have? I know there's a few different ones.
I guess, can you clarify?
So I know you have essentially the farming business, and you've got buyback, which owns some property, and then you do some agricultural work and spraying, and then there's a trucking company. Can you just describe kind of that empire in its entirety?
There was Ward Farms LLC. It was our farm agency. Ward Farms Services LLC was the spraying and fertilizer custom application business. There is buyback
Just want to make sure I have a good understanding of what, I know you did a lot of things essentially, that's all, so. And I wasn't clear on, we were familiar with buyback, and then I know that the other company owned trucks, and I'm not in the farming, so I couldn't tell you.
Yes,
You know, one of the-
DDW investments, that's the biggest, you know, they keep claiming that I sold all the assets of DDW investments. DDW investments didn't own anything other than the Cadillac from Taxpayer. That's the only things they're doing.
I see.
Can I just interject for 1 second? You should tell them about your worry firms and your DBA. Because that is something that has become, I think, for the conservative, an issue now, because they were never aware that Dale Warner.
I've always had Dale Warner DBA Warwick Farms from the beginning.
Okay.
And I still have, well, the last year and the previous year, everything is farmed in my DBA now. The LLCs are not being used. They're all still there. Everything's going through my personal.
May I ask why?
I'm not gonna deal with conservative. I'm not gonna work my ass off 20 hours a day to pay them.
Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, the companies are all dead without me. So there's nothing there.
As far as, I'll say day-to-day responsibilities, for lack of a better term, can you describe kind of your responsibilities and Dee's responsibilities when you get into business?
You run the office. I run everything else.
Okay.
His responsibility was to make sure all bills and payments were made and everybody was paid. And mine was to make sure all the work I did, everybody got what they made, trucks are on the road, things got planted, things got sprayed. I mean, that was my job.
Okay. So I understand Dee had expressed the interest in being done with the trucking business. Can you talk to us a little about that? Describe it to us.
I was confused on what she was talking about on being done with the trucking business, and I understand it clearly now. As she took so much money out of the company that there was no way it could survive.
Can you kind of tell us what she had told you back then about being done, so to speak?
She just kept telling me that the trucking, we're done, the trucking company, we're done. So she kept saying, I didn't understand what the hell she was talking about. And I never knew until a couple months ago when we figured out, 6 months after she left, what she was talking about. Because I had no clue what she was talking about. She said, we're done. I mean, we got a couple notices that, you know, delinquent taxes are gonna garnish your wages, they'll take money out, so they'll tell me about, gonna take your money out of the account. They're gonna do that, and the council might start questioning, I go, what is this? Don't worry, it's just, they missed the check, it didn't get to them in time, we got it. Well, hindsight looking back, when you get one of these, it's more than just a missed the check. It's flat out not paid. So they were scrambling around, pay that one that was delinquent that moment, so that you'd be off the collection list again, and I'm thinking everything's fine and dandy. Well, it wasn't fine and dandy. Her and Zach had been taking and scamming so much money out of the accounts. You know, and it was a godsend when she got the PPP money, because that gave them another shot in the arm that they could cover that up for another fucking 5-6 months. And it was down to the point where it couldn't be covered up anymore.
I see. Okay.
And I was gonna find it, because they were gonna have to come clean. That was her, how trucking companies done, how am I gonna deal with it, how am I gonna tell Dale this? I mean, she was at my daughter's soccer game when she called, told me, we're all done. 10 minutes ago, everything was fine. The day before, we just had pizza in the field, everything was great. What has changed? What's happened?
Tell us more about that conversation.
Which one?
When she was at the soccer game, you called her.
She called me, it was 9 or 10 in the morning, she was at the soccer game, and I says, Jaron, and I think Brian was there, we were tied on the field in Tipton. And my phone rings, and I said, I gotta take this, it's Dee. Because I figured she's calling, telling me how the house was doing at the soccer game. And she was very upset, and she says, we're all done, I got into a tie, we're all done. She hung up. That's it. And she would answer my calls all day long. So I'm in complete limbo thinking, what the hell is going on?
Okay. We'll come back. I have a couple other questions for you. We're in business. What year did things go negative with the vegetable farm? Is that in?
It was the year after we bought it. We went through, I think 14 is when we bought it, so it was like 15.
Yeah, your overall, the company and your business finances.
Oh, business finances were in turmoil. I mean, we lost, oh God, close to probably $20 million there. And we put hundreds of thousands of dollars in redoing buildings and redoing all stuff, a lot of equipment for up there. Because we couldn't pay for, we were rolling with the John Deere equipment, which you get a new piece every year. And since we couldn't do that in our dealership here in Tecumseh, we were rolling 30 pieces every year. So he would get 30 pieces and it had just very few hours on it, and he would sell it at a competitive edge over everybody else around. Well, he was getting, the economy was slowing down, things were slowing down. Pieces weren't selling, his lots were getting fuller and fuller, and my machinery didn't trade every year. We did this 7 years, so he's got 210 pieces of equipment that he's got in the last 7 years from us. We can't sell it. Well, the deal was, I pay the rental payment, or the lease, whatever you would call it, he pays the note off. Well, they talked me into signing a note with Deere, just a 1-year note. So every year with Deere, I'm supposed to pay that piece off. Well, I don't pay it off. The dealership pays it off. I pay the rental. Well, they had so much machinery, they didn't want to pay the notes off. So Dale stuck, had to pay all these notes off. $5 million I'm supposed to come up with. Well, I can't. So now all my notes are due. My $1 million operating line at the bank is due. My other $500,000 line at the other bank is due. Well, there's this little clause in the bank's thing, even though you've got all your money in the bank, you make the payments to them. If they feel threatened in any way, they can take all the money out of your account and pay all the debts off. And that's the same bank cleans out of my accounts $800,000 that was set to pay everybody else. They took it all. They paid themselves off. We're pretty clear. They bounced 35 payroll checks. They bounced a couple hundred other checks that we sent off to make all these payments. So where do you think that left me financially? In turmoil.
We had heard that notes would be called back, but we didn't know that those pieces of information, how it specifically played out.
Yeah, the roll program that we had set up with Deere, and it was my own fault. I should have never let him talk me into doing it, but I was paying a quarter of the amount I would pay on a normal market. I mean, combine payment would be $50,000. I was paying 20. Same $30,000. Who wouldn't do that?
Yeah.
And that was the same on all these pieces. Well, the dealership, instead of them saying, hey, we can't take these in that trade, let's keep these pieces another year, we'll roll them back in and go through it, they didn't do that. They just didn't pay John Deere.
Just let you hold it back at the
Yeah,
end.
we rolled back.
Okay.
But a lot of it was the manager at the dealership was not telling the owner, Paul Baker, what was going on. Because Paul Baker and I have a great relationship right now. I mean, I own $5-6 million right now. With him. So if he didn't know what was going on, then this other shit would happen probably. But this all goes back to communication. There was a failure in communication. I assume the dealership's manager was doing his job. He wasn't. He was covering his own ass. So they threw me to the wolves. And by the time me and Paul Baker got together and talked about what was going on, hopefully shit worked out.
And coming out of it financially,
So what I had to do to survive is we sold off all the property we had in Manchester. Sears Farms, I wrote a check and bought that. I had to sell another 300-400 acres I had in Britain to pay off the bank to get them off. Well, I didn't pay them off to get them satisfied to get them home. And Greg Hardy was in this deal because he's this great fucking guy. He's negotiating this deal and help, which I've been better off not having had him involved. He ends up with 100 acres of mine, and he negotiated a deal that they needed another $500,000 to keep me from losing everything. Greg negotiated this deal. But the other only had 2 weeks to come up with this money. And I'm such a, Mr. Greg Hardy, I'm this good guy, I'll buy that piece of ground from you. But I'm only going to give you this much money, even though it's worth this much money. He set up the deal and cut his own fucking pocket. It cost me over $100,000.
okay.
But he set the deal up, I only had 2 weeks. Where are you going to come up with millions of dollars in 2 weeks? There's no one. He set me up to fail.
So he negotiated this deal directly with the bank, and whatever extension they come up with X amount, and then gave you X amount for that property, basically, right? That's the short, okay.
So he fucked me in the deal.
This
So I'm
is,
still here, I still,
I'm not saying this to make you mad, but it was explained to us that you two, meaning you and Dee, were in turmoil, and I'm being dramatic, but ran down the street to Greg's house, Greg, please save us, and that's what was essentially told us before. So that makes a little more sense.
no, that's not good at all. He's like, he was trying to come across that he's gonna be the savior. Well, his whole master fucking plan was to fuck us out of something, and he did.
Which piece of property was that?
Maybe I do. There's 100 acres there. It links. Greg's got about 300 acre chunk there now. Doesn't know my 100 acres.
Okay. And how much would that have been worth at the time on the open market, do you think?
We should have been able to get probably 6,000 or 7,000 an acre for it. Greg only gave me 4.
I see, okay. Yeah, that would be sour taste in my mouth also, in a way.
Well, it did at the time, but you know, I'm one that doesn't hold a grudge that much, but I looked at it this way, it saved me all the other properties I had, so it wasn't costing doing business.
Mm.
But there leaves a sour taste in your mouth that, you know, family wasn't there to help his sister like he was trying to come across. He was there to screw her in.
Yeah.
And she was very bitter over it too, but I convinced her to keep her mouth shut and just civil on it. We're here, we'll get through it.
Sometimes, unfortunately, there's a price to pay to reveal someone's true colors too. So you paid a hefty fine to reveal Greg's true shape,
Paid
true shape, you know.
a lot of hefty fines, to do what's cost me. I figured 20 million, but, you know, up until we bought that vegetable farm, there wasn't anything that we couldn't do. You know, you feel this sense of invincibility. You know, if you work hard and you go at it, there's nothing you can't do. And kind of American way. You know, if you work hard, you'll do well. You got to. And up until then, there was nothing we couldn't overcome. But up there, we had 150 Mexicans working for us. Lions, sheep. You know, I should not say much more, but give me an example. Well, it's burned in my fucking brain forever. We're growing cabbage up there. 40-acre field of cabbage. We send the Mexican out. It's all hand-weeded. There's about 25 Mexicans in the crew that are supposed to help go out and weed this. Dee sends them out to weed. I don't know if they're spraying. And while spraying, there's only 5 or 6 people that are still weeding. And I called Dee, so we'll get the next elephant call. I'm like, Dee, there's 5 or 6 people out here in the cabbage weed. Are they supposed to be here? She's like, no, I sent the whole crew out there. I said, so how many are supposed to be? She says, around 20, 25. I says, there's 5 people here. She says, I'll call and I'll go check. Yeah, there's 25 people punched in. You know, the property's so big up there, they all jump in their cars, they go back to the laneway, then 5 of them jump out, they drive around the backside of it, over the camp, because we had housing up there. The driver, no, they know the housing. So 5 people work, and 15 went home, and came out, 3 cabins, and I said, well, it's time to punch out there a little bit, but they go back this way, they drive around here. Over, pick the flag up, come up to camp, and all punch out.
So who's your short straws? Which 5 will work, as you say? Is it the rotation, or how do you get
I
it?
don't know how they did it, but that was unbelievable. It's okay. I don't see the ref that day. But you didn't watch everything they did. They're growing marijuana. I was back in the they're growing marijuana. There's all muck around blackberries. They're growing marijuana in all ditches all over. And come to find out after the fact, after we lost it and sold it, that when they were taking the stuff into Myers and Kroger's, that we were hauling all their pot in the truck. That had distribution at Myers and Kroger's where they were selling it, and they were taking it off the trucks.
Oh, wow. So you get out of that financial trouble. Can you describe what your financial situation was like, you know, April 1st, 2021? What was it like then?
We were struggling. I didn't think, well, we were struggling. We had been struggling since we Russell did operating loans, and you know, it's a challenge. The prices really were, and they finally got hooked up with a group.
I have to stop. You got to talk stupid. And you said the prices where they were, what maybe
Corn prices.
Okay.
I mean, back when things were rolling good, it was $6, $7 a bushel for corn, $15 for beans. Well, corn was back down to 4. Beans were down to 9 or 8. So I mean,
probably with the same operating costs, or?
So we're operating a loss.
Okay.
So it was tough, you know, and it was hard because we're paying off a lot of bad debt. We're still paying bad debt.
If the farming is struggling that much, what was keeping you afloat?
Work harder, do more.
In which way? Can you describe that to me?
Instead of working 10 hours a day, you're working 18 to 20. You're farming more ground. You're trying to do more custom spraying.
Mm-hmm.
Time's being pushed to send the trucks out, more loads, more loads.
Okay.
But unbeknownst that, you know, after the fact, we look back, the farming side wasn't losing money, it was making money. But the problem is when you've got 10 guys driving a truck, 5 of those guys are on farm's payroll. The trucking company isn't paying farms back for the 5 guys on the payroll.
I see.
So it's pretty easy to make a trucking company look very profitable when half the employees are on the farm side. All the maintenance are coming from the auto parts store or the trucking store is being billed to Warwick Farms. You just got $10,000 worth of parts for that truck upgrades. It's all billed to Warwick Farms. Warwick Farms pays for it. The trucking company's using the truck free and clear, not paying for any parts, not paying for the drivers. The farms is paying the insurance.
Okay.
See where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm. I see what you're
And you want to buy a lake house unbeknownst to your husband, and you're trying to get it refinanced, so you give them the financials from the trucking company, which looks like you're making a lot of money, 30%. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there's no overhead. Who's not making money? No overhead.
Right. Well, then you've got, you know, different places. She tried to sell the trucking company in 2018, unbeknownst to me, marked all the paperwork, and they're like, no. The industry standard for profitability in trucking is only like 5 to 6%, and you're making 30%, Dee? What's going on here?
How did this deal come up with Laidlaw? Can you describe that to us a little bit?
The deal with Laidlaw? You know, you guys, talking law enforcement, all these people after the fact, you guys crippled me. My ability to pay bills and stuff was crippled after you guys come in and took phones, took systems out, did what you did. I mean, it was a struggle before. It was more challenging. Then you take into place fuel costs just doubled. An tire that used to cost me $800 now costs me $1,600. I can't pay that. How am I gonna keep making the payments on all this stuff? You know, Todd sees this. He's dispatcher, and he knows all these guys that they know. They've been talking to me. Hey, Todd, what's going on for us? Why don't you guys do this? It's like, no, we're not leaving, Dale. We're not leaving. Well, how will we buy him now? Bring him down, Todd. We'll talk to him. They made us an offer. We paid off the trucks to death. I had taken on a 5-year non-compete. I've got an agreement with them that I do a lot of maintenance and stuff for them. The rent facilities. All my employees are protected. They've all got jobs. Todd moved over. It was a deal. Did I want to do that? No. Was it a good deal? Yeah. I just eliminated a couple $1 million in debt on trucks. I had to get a non-compete for 5 years. Todd's got a job. I'm still getting rental income. I can make my house payment. I keep moving forward. 5 years, am I going to be back? Todd and I will decide. Will every one of you guys come back if I ask them to? Yes, they will. And we have a good relationship with them. And they know there's not a single thing I'll ask them to do that I wouldn't do myself if I had time to do it.
Okay. I just want to ask you some questions to make sure I understand. So you agreed to a purchase price, and then you signed a contract saying, hey, I won't do any more trucking work, basically, and they're paying you X amount monthly for facility rental, essentially. Okay. And is that facility rental, is that also a 5-year contract?
No, that's
Just the non-compete is?
Just the non-compete, just the facility rental is month to month, so if they choose to leave, they leave whenever they want.
Okay. And then is there a maintenance contract in place for you to maintain the vehicles, or they're just paying you?
They just pay us whatever it takes to keep it fixed,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Recently you submitted some documentation for an SBA loan. You know which one I'm talking about. Can you describe that to us?
Which one?
Both. I don't know. I don't know if you, there's two of them.
For one for each
No,
company or?
no, there's a $500,000 SBA loan that we took out. Oh, it was, I don't remember, that was first, we took that out to pay off, a lot of the debts that was occurred. You know, I'll be there, and we're going, so we keep going. And the second one we took out, it was, a no-brainer. I mean, our operating loan at the time was, we got a $800,000 operating loan. It was a 9%. SBA loan, we took out, was only 3%, and I paid anything back for 2 years, and after that's over 3-year payback, so.
Was that the EAD loan?
No, well, I don't know, the SBA loan, that's one, I don't know what the hell.
See, this is stuff Mark can probably help.
Yeah, that's all stuff from Mark to go over, but I mean, from the accounting side, accounts, this is no brainer, you got this. You're gonna pay 9% on an operating loan to these guys, and you get this loan here for 3%, you're not paying anything for 2 years, this is no brainer.
So that's, I'm sorry, who said that?
The accountants.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Mark was one of them, and our other accountants we talked to, our tax ones and different ones, I mean, you're gonna buy the numbers, and you're gonna go, why would you not do this?
Even I can tell 3 versus 9. So.
Just good. This is huge, I mean, this, it's a lot of cash flow, I mean, it's all about the cash flow. So, I mean, no brainer, I mean, there's nothing shady, nothing illegal, the money's all went, I mean, every penny that you guys can come look and see where it's went, it's all in the pay bills on the farm, and, you know, the conservative was put into place to protect and conserve these assets. I've been more to do that than anybody else has done. Every bill's been paid.
Yeah, I haven't spoken directly to consumer about this, it's more or less the grapevine, but I think one of the concerns was a copy of Dee's driver's license and passport was submitted with the application.
So we've got that on file. Every business has copies of their employees, my passports in the file, my licenses in the file, my restricted use licenses in the file. Every employee's license is in their file.
Where is that stuff stored?
It's all in the file cabinets. You guys went through well.
In the manual physical file cabinets? Okay. And again, these are questions that I'm not saying you did anything wrong, but we just have to ask based on what was realized. That's all.
You guys should have.
I don't, yeah, not only understanding, I'm not accusing of nothing, I just,
No, it's just this is old. That's why would you have got it? Same procedure any place you might go to. You go to the medical office, the first thing you gotta get is your driver's license and your mail card, take a copy of the file.
yeah, I'm not running a $1 million business and I have myself taken electronically, you know, I'm like Google Drive, because I need it for this or that, so I understand completely. There was also some questions raised about a power of attorney. Dee had signed, can you talk to us about that? When were those made or when were those signed, you know?
I don't remember what the date were, the dates on our return, I think it was 12 or 14. I mean, we've got our attorneys on lots of things. I mean, I've got them at the Farm Service Agency, I've got them for, was Tom Norwood at the time, Matt Luck at the time, Rob Brisky at the time, Dee, myself, she had the same power attorneys for me. I mean, it's the normal business operating paperwork that we have.
Okay. Do you remember when or where those were signed specifically?
I know, they're all notarized and signed, witnessed. The same one's the one in the Farm Service Agency. I think Dan was in the office at the time, he notarized them, or Stephanie was a notary. Stephanie did it too.
Okay.
Or before we had notaries at our own office, we went over to Brisky's and he had a notary in his office there, notarizing, or we were running to the bank.
Okay, yeah, I know where I was there. Okay. Do you have any question on the business guy?
There was some questions. There were 2 operating agreements. There really is only one operating agreement. It was, other than the one that Dee manufactured afterwards.
Well, yeah, the one she never paid up for DEW bus, but she made one of them, just her name on it with the other. There's been addendums done to the operating agreements. And the first addendum that she did, the Dee wrote one, she was under the understanding that she had to retype the whole operating agreement. So the one that they're questioning her put on YouTube that is a fake or something, because she retyped the whole operating agreement and put the addendum So she's like, this is a pain in the ass, you know, I don't have to retype this every time, and that's what she emailed Jim Guzman, he was kind of chuckling, like, says, no, you don't have to do that, she just got to do page one. So it was kind of the time.
Business questions, you good?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
But I mean, whenever you guys have questions, just come up, if you guys have to come to the office, it's an open door.
Okay.
Nothing to hide, we're not doing anything that's shady, it's.
I don't get it at all, no. It's unfortunate that a lot of questions we have to ask just because of the circus.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that's what makes me feel like you guys are getting led around, because it's all shit that it's fabricated by them, so once it's fabricated, you gotta ask. That's why we joke with you, it's Greg sent it today, it's a joke between you and me, so
Trust me,
don't take
I am not getting your Christmas card if I heard, I can promise you. You might get one before me, how about that? What can you tell me about Dee and her migraines?
She'll get a migraine, she'll lose vision, her voice will start slurring, her face will sag, it looks just like a stroke, it's scaring her down. I take her to the hospital several times, go to the hospital, it's very frustrating because they don't do anything, they push you in her room, they just leave you there. You know, she's very in pain, and I'm feeling helpless. They finally do give her something, it's like, what can we do? There's nothing we can do, I can just have her home and done this. You know? And where were the kids doing this shit when I fucking walk around? She called, they didn't come. They didn't come. They never come. Ever.
How long has she been having it? When did we start?
Since I met her. I think she had them back when she was married to Tim. I think she had one with Tim. She said they thought it was a stroke and she lost her face sag. I think that was the worst one she had. That's what they call it. Any stroke. Yeah, that's Tim what that first one was, but I don't remember. But she had them. They were getting more and more frequent, but she had a vertebra in her neck that was deteriorated, so it's, the nerves were around each other, so we're going up to Chelsea to the pain clinic. They were giving her injections in her neck.
Okay.
For the pain. And before, I didn't know it, but I think she'd been hooked on the oxycodone and stuff for quite a while.
That's scary.
Yeah. And you guys seen all the bottles and stuff I found in the house, didn't you? See those there?
I couldn't tell you how much, but I'm familiar with what you mean.
Yeah, there's bottles and bottles I found everywhere. I'm still finding stuff in the camper. There's a little pill bag. It's just.
Were you ever concerned she may be getting them elsewhere?
Hindsight, yeah, now I am, but I was oblivious at the time.
Yeah.
That was always someone else's problem. That's not my wife. It's not here.
And
Blind to it.
I'm telling you that's everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
It's never their kid, it's never their wife, it's never
And
their
I know
husband.
exactly where they're coming from now because I look back and I go, oh my fucking God. There's 10 bottles of oxycodone. I could go get you 10 bottles of it right now out of my house. Or in the drawers. And now I'm talking, thinking, you guys, I need to get that shit the fuck out of there because I got a 10-year-old dog in the house.
Yeah, it's scary to have around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else she was doing. And I was curious too.
Did you, aside from the oxycodone, do you know what other pills she may have been taking that were prescribed to her?
I don't know what they are. I mean, there's a bunch of them. She had for depression. She had for a lot of different things.
I'm sorry, I did back up 1 second. Now, how often does she have a migraine, would you say?
Oh, sorry.
Maybe.
She'd have it at least once a month or more.
Okay. And can you describe what that was like for her?
Just unbearable pain in her head. And it got to a point where she would always talk about the pain and you just get hard to it because you heard it so much you didn't believe it anymore. I mean, like a kid crying a wolf. Sometimes you feel like she's just using that as a crutch to, I got a migraine, I'm going back to the house to get away from you. But the pain level was unbearable. And I could tell when she was having one was bad because her face would start sagging a little bit. And her vision, she'd have blurred vision. She'd be talking to you. You know, if you're talking to someone where you have eye contact, she'd be talking and she'd be looking off over here because she couldn't see me.
And what was,
And her voice was starting to get slurred a little bit. And that's when I knew it was bad.
okay. And what was her behavior like when it was occurring? What was she doing?
She would still try to be, she would try to fake it and be normal.
Mm-hmm.
But she just couldn't function. Her voice would be slurred and she just would not be acting right. I'm like, honey, you just need to work out. So I just get her to lay down or just to get her to calm down. She would, at first when it was first going on, we'd get her a beer, some alcohol to thin her blood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the theory was, would help. And that helped at first, but after a while it didn't help anymore. And she had some, the one doctor that she was going to had some pills that they had made up. It was a combination of three different drugs. And she'd take them, and it was for migraines.
Okay.
And that helped. And the one pharmacy, there's only one pharmacy that was up by Chelsea that, I guess they had to custom make them there. And that's where she got those, and that seemed to help the most.
Okay.
It would do away. I mean, she would still, some of the pills you take like the codeine, oxycodone or whatever, then she'd just be a zombie. But this here, she could still function, she'd talk, and it'd be more like the normal Dee. She'd just be slowed down version.
And aside from you said looking back, you could see things with the pills. Did you have any suspicion then, or see her taking pills that you thought were excess?
I always thought, I would take any pills. I always thought it's an excess if she's taking anything. Why are you taking those? But I guess I'm just a freak that doesn't have, I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke, so I'm already a freaking freak. 'Cause I don't drink alcohol, but
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I don't know. Once I don't have to work, you know.
It's a good problem, man.
Well, yeah. I didn't spend any time with my first 4 kids because all they did is work, so
Hmm.
I'm making up for things like that.
Initially, when this happened, you, and I don't want to misquote you, so please correct me, but if I'm saying something that you said out, you correct me if I'm wrong, sincerely, okay? You guys made a statement about cheese in Jamaica. And what made you think that?
She loved it there. She was fascinated with it down there. And what makes me think that I will find her. I will find her. She's in Jamaica, or she's in Mexico. And the reason I say she's in Jamaica, and when we're down there, she was fascinated with it. She was always off with it. What would you call it? Person that's in charge of the resort that, gives you all the information, can get you anything you want while you're there, take you wherever. And she's always fascinated. When you're in Jamaica, where the resort, so you look up on the hill. There's all these mansions way up on the mountain hill. Where are those up there? I want to go up there. That's all the drug cartels. That's all the people that you don't want to go up there.
Mm-hmm.
She's fascinated with that stuff. She's there. Here too. You tell my wife she can't do something, she's a pretty girl. She's like, oh, she's gonna do it. She was on that cruise ship. It's about 3 years ago when she went with Stephanie Mills. She found somebody in that ship that hooked her up, or they hit it off like her and I did years ago. And they told each other some dreams of what they wanted to be or what they wanted to do. She's in Jamaica up in the mansions, or she's in Mexico, and some places you don't want to go to.
This person she hit off with, can you describe it to me?
He was a guy on a boat. He was one of the directors or one of the top guys there. And it was either him or an associate because he was on the boat. He was very well off, very well to do. And she was hanging with them a lot on the boat. This is according to my brother. And just the things that Dee would tell me, we did this. And after she told me, she'd be like, you can see it back in my oh shit, I should have told that. I mean, they left Stephanie, which is a worker in the office, remember Stephanie?
Yep. Yeah.
And Dee, when I was screwed, I would go, I don't like boats, I won't want to go. She was pissed, I'll show you, I'm going to go anyway. So she took Stephanie, she took Angela, and Stephanie took her dog. So, then my brother went, and Amy and their daughter, and my sister went, and Miranda, because Miranda had cancer, that was the last trip before she passed away. So my brother and I left the girls all with Dee and Stephanie for that night. Well, Stephanie and Dee put the girls in the room, put a movie in. They go out left alone in the room. My Dee and Stephanie went out bar hopping, and Angelina called me in the middle of the night, scared because no one was in the room with them. And my brother, they were furious. They left her in the room. Why didn't you just have them back in our room? Well, while they're out bar hopping that night, that's when she's with these guys on the ship.
And you're learning about this after the fact?
I learned this. I've had bits and pieces of this now for 4 years, 3 years.
Okay.
I've been trying to go back together in my mind. And I'm thinking, okay, she's on this cruise ship. Like she's on the cruise ship, she bought $10,000 ring. She bought another $5,000 worth of jewelry here that I found receipts in the mail. You know, and we're in Jamaica, she's buying jewelry. I find out after the fact I get home. She's fascinated with these places up on the hill. Wanting to take off and go to town by herself. I'm like, no, you can't. Well, then she goes and we'll have seminar guard with her where she'd go. So she's there. She's in Mexico in these places.
And I just want to be clear, specific with...
You know, that's my gut.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So specific with the guy that you met on the cruise ship, that's something that you're thinking hindsight, or you have something to...
I don't have anything backed up other than what she's told me and different. It's all speculation.
Okay. And the reason why I asked...
I mean, even the kids in the room, like, my brother didn't back up. You know,
I think I heard that before.
I mean, that won't back up. But as far as anything else with speculation, that's not her husband. That's my gut feeling. I mean, I know my wife.
Okay. You have this gut feeling that she's in Jamaica or Mexico, and can you describe how she would have gotten there without a passport or without crossing a border?
You don't need a passport to get to Mexico. You don't even get to Jamaica either. If you guys think you got that one, you guys are really...
Well, obviously that's the most common way to get there, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
So if you were her, how would you have gotten there without one? Can you describe that to me?
Well, she's gonna get driven down to Florida. She's gonna get in a boat. She's gonna go over. You don't need a passport to get to Jamaica. You give $50. Mexico, you get $10. I seen that going back from Mexico. Our guy lost her paperwork. We took a group down there. Didn't have nothing. On the back, we got $10 on the plane. Yeah. We're home.
Okay. When was that?
I can tell you, it was 2 years ago, and when Dee and I just went down to Jamaica. Was it 6 months before she went missing, or wasn't too long for that? Nothing's changed. I mean, the guy that works over Dad, Ozzy, the black guy that works over there, he's from Jamaica. His brother's a detective down there. You know, if it's all money, you got some money, you can do anything you want.
Okay. Specifically on the money topic, where would she have gotten this money to do this? Because now it's been a long time to have survived this money. Where would she have gotten it?
Mark's still tallying up how much money she's got. We're still puzzled on where she could have phoned it or how she's got the money, where she did it. I haven't got answers from that yet.
Okay. And you had previously made statements about money missing from the safe. Can you describe that to us?
I think there's money in the safe that's gone. Something.
How much money was in the safe?
There's approximately close to, not for sure, there's between $75,000 and $100,000 cash in the safe.
Okay. And can you describe how that money was collected or how it came to be?
It was, we sold different pieces of machinery, and, you know, over the time you take your paycheck, you put $100 aside, you put it in the safe, and it's just accumulating over years.
Okay. And then how much was missing when she left?
I don't remember for sure without, I mean, Kevin would know because we went down there and looked, and it seemed like there was only like 18 or 20,000. I mean, don't quote me. I'd have to ask Kevin because I think we looked or counted or did something at the time. It seemed like there's only like 18 or 20,000 left.
When you say Kevin, referring to Greca, make sure I'm clear. Okay. And can you, if I was leaving forever, I wouldn't leave anything behind. Can you explain that?
I know. She knows that. I figured she left that because that was the amount of money that she figured I had been putting in there for my paychecks when I saved since forever. So I guess she got a little guilt that she left. I don't think she did. I don't understand.
Okay.
But, you know, like you said, what just as easy to take it all when she left the one bag that the money that I put in. So she
financial questions, we're awaiting a financial forensic audit, so a lot of those questions are going to be answered. We just don't have them right now, essentially. But specifically with cash, it's sometimes hard to show where from where.
Well, was it covered over years?
Yeah, a lot of it we're going to discover, but that's a large sum of money to have in a house. So I was interested if you had a specific thing, like we sold this tractor that's worth X, or something large, but nothing like that comes to mind. Okay. Okay.
I mean, that might be a large amount of money for someone. It's not for, it wasn't for us. I mean, we got $100,000 in saved at all times. I mean, over to everybody's with Risky's got $1 million in saved.
How-
It's the size of the volume of business.
How long have you had money like that with that amount to save?
Oh, we've always had $50,000 to $100,000 in saved. Even when we're getting bankruptcy, I mean, you're gonna, that's your cash reserve. What are you gonna do? If everything goes to hell, yeah, that money's going on.
Okay.
That's not money that you're going to use to make a house payment or these other payments. That's the money that you have to buy food on the table to live on.
Okay.
Imagine if in your house you probably have some cash that's away somewhere from your wife and you have your kids and you're not going to. I'm assuming that.
My wife doesn't trust me for money, so I couldn't tell you.
So you're my excuse. What's it like?
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, they counted earlier. I wasn't kidding.
I can tell you I do not have $100,000.
Okay. You have to forgive me. We got to get into a couple more parts here, but I have to step out and use the restroom. Can I get you another water while I'm out?
No, I'm not really going to use the restroom.
Okay. You guys know where that one is, and just actually go one at a time? Yeah. Is that all right? There's another water in the corner I'm going to use. Sure.
So just briefly for some clarification, you're sitting on the far left and it's your back is towards is that a body camera or what kind of camera is that?
That's a camera mounted to the wall.
Okay, and who's sitting directly to your right?
That's my partner at the time, Detective Sergeant Scott Singleton.
Okay, and across the table from you, who's seated directly across from you?
To my left is Dale Warner.
Okay, and to his right?
Right
your right.
is his.
And is the that we're talking to, is he in the courtroom today? To him and I.
Objection, thank you.
At this time, Your Honor, I would ask the court if we want to take a brief recess because we do have about another hour cam, so.
Okay, the record will so reflect, and why don't we take about a 10-minute recess, give people a chance to get up and move around a little bit.
Circuit Court is in session. The Honorable Michael Osager presiding. You may be seated.
All right, are we ready to bring the jurors back in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, we need Mr. Warner, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Um,
Got ahead of myself. are we ready for the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yeah.
May be seated.
All right, I apologize for the extended break. The reason for that is that during the break, it came to my attention that there is still video footage on the internet of that depicts jurors. And that to me is unacceptable. It is becoming a disruption to these proceedings. The court has the ability and the authority to address these issues in a way that protects the jury and is consistent with making sure that MCR 8.115C3 is followed, which says that no one may photograph, record, broadcast, or live stream any juror or anyone called to court for jury service. At this point, I am going to order all members of the media who have access to this trial to remove all footage of day 1 and day 2 of the trial from their websites, from anywhere where it is viewed publicly. Because both of those days, we've just looked at video and confirmed, still have depictions of jurors. We are also at this point going to break for lunch, and during the extended break we will be checking in with our jurors in the presence of myself and the attorneys to determine where we stand with respect to this issue, and we will continue with the trial once we've completed that task. I appreciate the public's desire to know what is happening in this trial. But that cannot come at the expense of the integrity of this trial. And I will do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen. Ms. Wise or Ms. Chartier, is there anything you want to address with respect to this issue on the record right now?
Not at this point, Your Honor.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, court will be in recess until 1:30.
Circuit Court is in session. The Honorable Michael O. Saber presiding.
Thank you. You can be seated. We are back on on the record in file 24-21841-FC. Are we ready to have the jurors brought back in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ready, yep.
Yes, sir. May be seated.
All right, and we can have the witness come back to the stand. So I'll just remind you, you are still under oath.
Yes, sir.
All right, so where we left off in the interview, you guys kind of took a break for a little bit, right?
Yes.
Okay, and when you come back, there's some further discussion about some basic farming and then details of the weekend of April 25th, 2021. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll continue to play that, Your Honor. Can we just ask, Your Honor, if it's too loud or if there's an issue with that thing up there, too loud?
Turn it down. It's a little loud.
Okay.
Where do you live? Right here, East Tennessee?
Yeah.
Is that-
Yeah, it's fine.
Your Honor, is it appropriate to ask the jury if this is better than before when they were trying to listen or worse? Because the speaker was supposed to make it better, but we just want to make sure it didn't make it worse.
Is there anyone?
Better? Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. actually remember when lines used to be sort of good back in the, late 80s, early 90s. My dad was making transportation for really good friends.
Oh, yeah?
And so we used to spend a lot of time doing lines. And then after that, the middle school for about 30 years. And, yeah, I went to the national championship in 1991. They lost to the Redskins. The Redskins ended up coming to Martinsburg in the Super Bowl. It was the last time the Lions were in.
Last time I went to playoff game in 91.
Yeah, they beat the Cowboys at so they came. A couple of years after that, in 1993, they were in the playoffs against Green Bay. And Sterling Sharp ended overtime. Very first play for the scrimmage, Brennan Burke was Sterling Sharp. And a long bound, when it lost. It was like literally the first play. And I don't know, I went to maybe the playoffs one more time after that, until 2016.
Right.
It was just so bad for so many years.
I still found myself Sunday watching. They're gonna, they're done. See, same old Lions, and they came through. So.
Also, this guy Jim Cox is outrageous. The Lions could win a playoff game for the first time in my life. You aren't old enough to remember that.
If I could ask you a generic farming question, Dale, could you, in 30 seconds if possible, describe like the seasons of a farmer? So winter, spring, summer, what are you doing through those seasons?
I asked you the same question. Right now, we're still, marketing our crop for this year.
When you say market, you include selling?
Yeah, marketing.
Okay.
Selling. I'm looking at purchasing the inputs, ours chemicals and fertilizers and seed for next year.
Okay.
We're getting machinery in and getting it retooled, redone for next year. We'll be taking, as we're going through here in February, we'll be getting orders of hopefully what application jobs we're going to do for someone else, or what their needs are going to be. So, our seed corn will be coming, they call it here
off the top of your head, if you have a schedule, a formal schedule for everything?
A lot of them I have, like seasons.
And even, I mean,
Your body knows when this is coming, or maybe the weather.
that's what I was gonna say, the weather, I mean, you can't predict, like, it's been unreasonably warm, and so coming up right now, you know, not that things would be kind of,
Yes, I've done this my whole life, so it's just.
So you use the buffer zone, right?
You know, like, it's hard to find them anymore. It's hard to get them anymore. But you know, there's a lot of truth to it. Grandpa always say that, what is it, the frogs croak so many times before the word frost. There's so many different sayings. The locust, you know, you hear, it sounds like the frogs at night. You hear all the locusts chirping. So many times they chirp at night, you may get frost. So many times they chirp at night, it's the rain. These guys had shit down. And then different ones, you know, with the cattle, you debone cattle, you cut their horns off, otherwise, you know, they'll gore each other when they get older there. There's sayings out that you don't want to deworm cattle after half moon, you want to put it after full moon, and they'll bleed less. Yeah, I mean, something's true. You deworm them and bleed, you want to ruin their blood straight afterwards, you know, the arteries are right up there. Next time you do, after full moon, you're bleeding a lot. There's some truth to this.
Affects the tide, so I don't know what.
There's so many,
I don't know.
but there's so many things. There's so many things that there's so many things that
He's in charge of something, so yeah, good.
there's so many things that I would remember to tell you because it's all like second nature. You know? I mean, it just
Yeah.
I say go plant corn. Well, I already know where all of it is. You're gonna go plant corn. There's things that's my son and stuff. And you tell me everything, assuming that I know what you're talking about.
And outside of your, when I say your farming, I'm referring to the land that you own, when it comes to, please correct me if my vernacular is going to be wrong, when it comes to lands you were contracted to spray or fertilize, do you have a formal schedule for that, or how does that work? So let's say I own 100 acres and I'm going to hire you to spray. Do you schedule a specific day with me, or how does that work?
You're gonna call me and say, I got 100 acres of corn, I want you to spray. I'm gonna ask you, when did you plant it? You know, how big is the corn now? What fertilizer do you have on, what do you have on, you have the chemicals, have you done anything? Did you till it, or is it no-till means you just went out and planted it, you didn't till the ground, so you didn't kill any weeds or string the ground? I'll ask you those questions, and then I'm gonna come out and look at it. Okay, you planted it 50 days, I know, you planted it on Monday, well, you had 2 weeks before I really got to be concerned about it. Things do this, I run over it and pop back up. If it gets over this tall, you run over it, it's dead. It's cool. So I'm gonna come out and look at it, and I'm gonna ask you what weeds you have. Do you have thistles, do you have broadleaf weeds, grasses, so I know what chemistry I have to use to keep it clean. And as you plant around ready corn, you're gonna live and link. So you have
Those brands, or what is that?
that's resistance to different herbicides.
Okay.
Roundup Ready, you can spray Liberty Link, you can spray Liberty, and it won't kill it. There's different ones, is it BT, or more resistant, or bugs usually die. Is it rootworm resistant, maybe you put like chlorophos on or something for insecticides. And you're gonna answer all those questions, I'm gonna come out, look at it, and go, okay, that's decent, this is what we're gonna use, and I'm gonna come back and spray it. And it's gonna be determined by, you know, if we had rain today, I'm not gonna go out there tomorrow, because I'm not gonna sink in and let your field up the whole week, it's dry, you know, schedule it back. If they're calling for rain tomorrow, well, no, I don't want to spray it tomorrow, because the stuff will spray, it takes 4 hours. It's gotta be on the plant or be there 4 hours before, it's almost spraying, it's rain an hour later, well, we just wasted $30-40 an acre. So why don't we trim all that out? And you gotta make sure the wind can't blow if you're in a subdivision, I don't want this stuff blowing over on the neighbors, killing the grass, if the kids are out there, they're gonna be turning in, and I'm drifting on them, so I mean, as far as we schedule, I'm gonna be there Monday to spray at 9 o'clock, that don't happen. So it's gonna be when the weather's right, you have faith in me that.
Within a window of the appropriate time for that plant, essentially, right? Okay. You know you look at it, you know you have 5 days, you're gonna be there within that 5-day period, but it's never, I'm gonna be here this morning or that morning.
Right.
Okay.
Be there when, and
mean, there's mornings when it's real calm out and there's no wind, great, let's go spray. And there's days that it doesn't stop blowing, you can't spray it off. You have the competition on spraying still.
And is what you just described as far as your scheduling things, is that Dale or the kind of the generic farmer? Say, is it kind of everyone operate that way, or is that just your
Everyone
flow?
should, but everyone don't.
I mean, as far as scheduling, is that,
Well, if you go to the trades of the world, they're gonna schedule, we're gonna be at your farm on Monday, you don't know what time, they're gonna be there Monday, they're gonna be Tuesday. What they're gonna do for good long, they're gonna go to drift agent and tank, it's gonna cost about $10 an acre. Or they're gonna tweak, there's different chemistries you can do. We're gonna put on more gallons, so we're gonna have more volume, so we're gonna blow it. Or we're gonna put on less, we cut more acres, because you got 100 acres, we can only carry 80 acres in our tanks, we're gonna cut back, so put 15 gallons on, we're gonna put 10, so we can get it one job, so we'll put less product on, so my eyes are gonna get poor control. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can change, so they can make the schedule. They got young guys that don't have the experience, they're just gonna fuck around.
okay.
So, they don't care if they get fined for that, he comes out and sprays a little bit, because they find the operator, not the company. So, you lose your license,
Oh,
you're not really
really?
somewhere else to put there.
Okay.
So, the company might get some money there, no, but it goes on, you got to make the determination, doing the job. That's just like driving a car. When you get in there, you're responsible for you, that's all you do, so you're responsible for it.
Okay.
That doesn't mean the difference. That's like in the morning, I try to get up early, because that's when the wind isn't blowing, so I mean, the day Dee left, for example, that was a calm day, it was scrambling like hell to get out there, because I had a full day and I had to go. And I knew the wind was gonna pick up, so I had to get this done, so I got to go. If I can set the week.
Okay. And, as far as chemicals go, for you, owning and selling chemicals, is there a state license for that? Can you tell me about that?
Get a good license from the state.
Okay. Is that covered by Laura or somebody else?
I think Laura and FDA.
Okay. And, what sort of chemicals do you have on hand at the farm?
Oh, I can tell you for sure about what they do, but I use the ground actually. Normal herbicides.
Okay. Anything else?
Insecticides. What do you mean?
I don't know, it's not on the farm. Oh, somebody you just tell me this
You're
stuff.
gonna have Roundup,
Okay.
you're gonna have atrazine or metallichlor, which is a chemical you put down, it stays there for 30 days.
Hmm.
You're gonna have some kind of insecticide, kill the bugs. You're gonna have some surfactants to make it stick to the plant so it won't hit. Ammonium sulfate, which is dry, it softens the water to make it slippery, so the chemicals work better.
Okay.
As far as, you're not gonna have a lot of stuff sitting there, like, I mean, this is the time of year that we can take an order, so we get a lot of stuff in the spring, so you have it there, but like now, there's hardly anything in the barn, because you don't carry the inventory, you need money.
Right, you don't want to buy it when you need it.
Right.
Right, okay. Okay. Do you have a question on that stuff? I don't want to move into the weekend.
No, please.
Okay. Tell us, what do you remember, and I'm referring to the weekend that, the weekend of April 24th and 25th, right, that weekend. So tell us what you remember from Saturday.
Saturday. Saturday, I think, is the day that Dee called me all upset that she was done. We put tile the night before, I was going by her, and she brought me to the field. It was on Friday night, it was. We're out east of the field, we all were the tile, we were talking about what we were doing the next morning. Now we're trying to finish that field tile for Martinsburg. She was gonna take Angel into the game, she wanted me to know if I was gonna go, I said, no, I gotta get this done. So I was there with the tile, and she came to the game. And that's what she called, and said, we're done, I was confused, and she didn't talk to me the rest of the day. I think that day, Saturday. That's the day I went down, the years, the big truck, they're back in set. Brought the truck back home. I think I was spraying or spraying fertilizer wells, going over time to check the cattle. herbicide for, it was burned out. It's burned out fast. It's going around at 240, almost all day. I had it back last day. Yes, very close. Then from Brooks, I went to Brooklyn, John Thompson. I think that's what Stephanie called. That was in Brooklyn. I think it was Stephanie calling on what he was at. It's just a whole lot of council. I was told why Stephanie was calling instead of Raquel, because she said Raquel about it. So I went with Stephanie, and I tried to call Raquel, I think I called her three or four times before she answered. She said, I couldn't find out. I was like, well, she's on her couch. I just left her an hour ago. She says, no, she's not here. I said, okay, I'll swear her, but when I'm home, half an hour, we'll be back. So that's when I, straight with the sprayer, go back here home. I closed the office. I seemed like I pulled one in the house. I went in the house. She wasn't there. She was in the house anywhere. I walked in the bedroom, looked around. That's when I noticed that her bags in the bedroom going. Her makeup bags, no bathroom was going. This is another bags ago. She says, I go, Zach's here. She's not there. I make sure she had to pick them up. She said, oh, the car's here. I said, the number's here too. I said, it's not good. No. Then Raquel went in the bathroom, looked around, and she agreed with me. She said, well, Mom's hairspray's done. Off the counter. Raquel, I don't know which hairspray she got, or Raquel picked out, but she took her hairspray. She didn't take Raquel's hairspray. So then, I think I went out, pulled out front to the office. Hindsight now, looking back, this is weirder than weird to me. He's been gone an hour to 2 hours, and the kids are here all in the panic, and she's left countless times. This is weird. And then Zach's in the office going through the security cameras, trying to figure out where's Mom at. He wasn't going through the security cameras, he was completely shut off the cameras because he gave his mom what he wanted to go track. That's
If I can, I'm sorry, cutting off on incoming, I appreciate the information, but specifically to Saturday, can you describe the source of Dee's anger? What caused her to get upset that day? Can you talk to us about that?
I guess she got into it with Terry, one of our drivers, over something his girlfriend or his wife or his ex-wife or ex-wife had done. I guess they had a big argument and he quit. And then she got into an argument with Todd that day over dispatching or Terry or what else they were arguing. He just then called her out and said, I know what you've been doing. We're taking this money and doing this.
It's been told to us that you had informed the employees how that happened, that she was taking Xanax and she didn't take kindly to that. Can you describe that to us? So we were told that you had informed, whether it was Todd or Carrie or both of them, that Dee was taking Xanax, and that was a source, a portion of her being upset that day. Okay. The way it was presented to us was, and I'm paraphrasing, Dale went behind her back and told employees she's taking Xanax, and that way that she won't be able to know, essentially. Okay. So outside of the phone call you had with her at the soccer game, can you go back to that? What happened from that?
I didn't talk to her unless she was going to answer. I tried calling her several times, but she didn't answer her phone. I was spaced. I don't know if I flew a tile and I can't remember if I went to the spray or spray more. But I know I had to take Todd down to, that was the day I took Todd down to Harrisburg. And I asked Todd, I'm waiting. He said, yeah, he got into it. He didn't say much. I called her out to quit today.
what was your instinct then? Do you think this was going to resolve itself, or what did you think at the time? Is this spat kind of counting?
I figured, you know, I'm gonna have to go out and talk to Terry, and back Monday, just all over, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna go in the house tonight, you know, thinking this, I'm gonna go in the house tonight, when I asked you for something that I love that went down, I'm gonna get chewed out because I didn't stick up for her with the Terry argument. So I know they'll lose this battle already, even though she's 100% wrong, so I'm just gonna, like, she argued with Todd, I'm thinking, well, Eliza again, he was that Todd quit too, because then we'll really be screwed. So I'm thinking, yeah, she's gonna argue screaming out at me tomorrow, I'm gonna have to go talk to Terry, you can come back to work, same time, it's gonna be my home, be tomorrow, that's Saturday, so Monday. I have to talk to him, go back, get it figured out, you know, a week, so, you know, for a couple days, let's just be back.
And at that time, thinking on Saturday, with how upset she was over this argument with her employees, essentially, commentary, what do you think her mindset was like?
I don't know anymore, I was just thinking,
Some of the statements you had made in the past were that you were concerned she was abusing her pills, and that she may be depressed. Is that accurate?
yeah, I think she was depressed, I think she was, she was upset, and depressed, that she didn't know what she was going to do, because, you know, her best friend quit, Todd's brother quit, so I don't know what the hell's going to happen with the trucking company, she can't do it. That's why she was saying, you're not going to come. I don't see that, they're going to, a lot of this shit's going on. So, I think former getting cops in, because, you know, they're going to they're going.
Because it was a busy time of year in general.
This is time of year.
Okay.
April 25th is when on a calendar, pretty much every year, I start planning corner, April 25th.
Okay. Barring weather or whatever. Yeah.
This is the day I start. Before this is too early, this is the day you start.
Okay. And she come home on Saturday, and what happens then?
I come home on Saturday. I see she's in the house. And I call my son, he's supposed to bring fertilizer. So I go in the house to see Dee, and she said, she's questioning me about, I already asked her what's going on with Angelina. She says Angelina's going to the house, and I'm like, why? It's like 8 o'clock at night, why is she going to her house? Because he can call and she's going over. Okay, I gotta go to town to do chores, check the cat, see Angelina. No, Amy's going to get her. Okay. So I go over, which times? Check the cat, you know, talk to her, say, oh, it's not, and then I was over there. Come back from the house, and it seemed like I had Amy in the door, she was coming. I can't remember if Amy was there when I left or when I came back. But Amy was there, she didn't say nothing, she's actually left in the house. Tried talking to Dee, and she's all upset. This is, okay, I said, I won't talk about it. She says, well, I never want to. I never told him this. Terry quit. Yeah, I heard Terry quit. Todd's upset with me. I said, what do you do? What do you do? I said, I want to take care of 4 of the kids. What do you want to do? She wants you to, first you try to scream, you start to say, fuck, that's, I just tried to sit down, talk to her, and then she got this, she says, you're using this as a shit on me. And I just
describe this as one of the worst arguments you had had. Can you describe that to us?
It was one of the worst arguments that we've had in a way that she's never said we're all done. I was confused with what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I get into the form, we're all done. A year and a half later, she knew she couldn't come to the line anymore. The money that she took and stuff they done with the big stuff, and that was all we found.
Yeah.
She came right in.
You had previously stated that you gave her some medicine.
You know, I never gave her medicine.
Okay. Any idea why you might have said that then?
Yeah, she always had no medicine.
Okay. No idea why you might have been mistaken about a different day or something?
Maybe I went to take medicine off work at the pharmacy.
Okay, that specific day or another time? Okay. So I want to be clear, you did not physically give her any medicine? The medicine she took, she obtained herself from wherever?
Yeah.
Okay. And you only saw her take, you saw her take
I
one
didn't see
pill?
what she took.
Okay.
The living room's here, the medicine she got in the counter, she went over to the guy and she went downstairs.
You're referring to the counter with the wood over it, kind of a dining room table?
The bar is off to, you know, take the wine right in.
That, okay.
That
Oh,
covers
okay.
it. That covers
You
it.
guys still get together on the phone over there? Okay.
Yeah, that covered right there's where she got all the medicine. Her medicine was there, the rest of the medicine, like her aspirins and her normal household stuff was all over in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, where she kept all her separate over there, so. But I was over by the kitchen bar to get, you know, the food warmed up, and she told me to get a pill or whatever. She went over there, got something on the cover, took it, come back and sit down. She ate.
Okay. And then, what time do you and her fall asleep?
I was thinking it was on the 12 o'clock, probably. I was thinking it was later, but it was about 12 o'clock.
Okay. Can you describe that?
Just lay down and sleep.
Where? Sorry.
In the living room.
You, both of you?
Yeah.
Okay. Specifically where on the,
On the floor.
okay. Is that common?
Yeah.
And how often do you sleep on the living room floor?
Just about every day.
Oh, really? Okay. Why is that?
We always did in our old house, we always just like throw the TV and watch TV and like our phone slept.
Okay. And you slept there all night, each of you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, what time did you wake up?
It was around 6 o'clock.
And what's a normal morning for you? What do you, in great detail as you can talk, what do you do when you wake up?
I get up, I'll get my clothes on, use to brush my teeth, grab my watch, my phone, get dressed, and then take my blood pressure pill, take my pill every morning, and head out.
Okay. Now that is in general, or that's what happened that Sunday morning?
That should not happen that day.
Okay.
Get up.
And how long does that process take you?
10, 15, that morning, I think I had to go downstairs because that's right, usually guys, did the transplants. We did them all, received the transplants downstairs. Yeah.
What's a transplant, sorry?
We started vegetables.
Ah, yeah.
Trays,
Yeah.
so it's trays downstairs, and I think the day before, Angelina and I just put receipts, and I think I went down that morning, I had to water. So I went right downstairs, put water in the transplants, I went downstairs twice. Team water down, water the transplants, and all that kind of stuff, put those on. I went,
Okay. So I want to start with really slow. So you wake up, you're on the floor, and what's the first thing you do?
get up, walk over, take my blood pressure pill, and start getting my pills on, because I'm in the phone in the garage.
Okay.
So I'll get up,
shower in the morning? No? You shower in the evening, I presume? Okay. So, I want to make sure I'm clear. You wake up, take a blood pressure pill, grab your clothes from the glass of water, grab your clothes from the garage, come into the bedroom, maybe the bathroom, brush your teeth, and get dressed. Okay, get dressed and we're just in the house, and then you grab your phone or your watch, and then do you eat breakfast in the morning, or are you ready to leave? Okay, so specifically on that Sunday morning, what happens from that? You're dressed, you take your blood pressure pill, you have your phone or your watch, what do you do next? Which, I know you have a bunch of doors back there, which door is common for you? Okay. Okay.
Usually I try to go up to the garage
Okay.
or the laundry room, just wherever I park the Kubota, where, I gotta take the dogs first thing, I go to the grass, because I gotta grab two cans of dog food. Or if I don't have dog food, I gotta go out to the shop and get it,
Okay. And I apologize, so you leave out through whatever door, or first thing you do?
First thing I'll do is I'll go break out, let the dogs out, then I'll get in the Kubota, they have to hedge over on me and see if there's anything on it. Well, start the sprayer out, we'll check the whole stuff on it. Then hopefully I remember to take my fucking list of the counter, I don't
Okay.
list, where I can spray, see what chemistry I put in.
Okay.
So that day, I had finished the week from Leroy's and on my list.
And how many acres is Levi's? How many did you spray?
I have to look in the book to sure, but I think it was only 10. It took me more time to get it out down.
Okay. How long is 10 acres on the take you? Okay.
Takes me longer than full. There. Leroy's is now there, I did the weed, come back. It seemed like I had a flusher grill, so I gotta go down about 3 times with water, pull it back on the road. Spray it to the road, rinse the book out 3 times, come back in. Look and see if I got any other chemistry, either blow it or KCB. Kubota, the front buildings where we keep the chems. I keep some back right lower, but all the small stuff, it's little jugs or little things we keep up by the office, so somebody shows up to buy some. So the girls can go to the market, just get a check out, so
Thanks.
so I'll go there and get what I need from my job, swim it back to the Kubota, drive back to the barn, walk this morning, flip the Kubota, I'll take the KCB up there and form the, bring the pallet out. So that morning, I think I made 2 trips with the Kubota, get different jugs, because that just, that's all on my sheet right there, my sheets.
Okay.
So my log sheets, I mean, if you ask me what time I went to Leroy's, I mean, go get my sheet, it tells what time I loaded the barn, what time I got to Leroy's, and when I'm back, because I'm loading the next one, I write down the gallons, everything, the tank, in the water. Next, like in the sprayer, I write down the sprayer when I leave the field, I try to write down, the acres I did, which name it is. So there's, I'm trying to double up so I don't miss it.
Right.
So then I've got those two.
Okay. So you walk out of the house, you go to feed the dogs, and what's the next thing you do? And you gotta talk city to me. When you say Kubota, what are you referring to?
The four-wheel little, what would you call it, a little ATV.
Okay. Like a side-by-side with a, with a park area in it?
Yeah.
Okay. And where does that normally park?
It's usually parked out by the dogs right behind the garage.
Okay. And you
Depends
get,
on where it is. Leaves it at night.
and you get that, and where do you go from there?
That morning, I drove around, last spring, I drove around the boundary of the farm. And I stick my hand out, the grass is up, so through the grass, see if there's people in it for what it is.
Okay. And then what?
Then I go to the sprayer, I started, I'll check the oil, started, I was just going down a bit in there.
Okay.
That's not on my list, I've got a load.
Okay. And what happened from there?
Went to Leroy's, sprayed that, back, it was out, I don't think it again. Went to the roads, sprayed that.
Okay.
And then I loaded it up to, I loaded it already. Then also I got sprayed propane.
Okay. And can you describe to us what you do with the JCB that way?
I would have pulled up, that was, pulled it out of the barn, pulled it up by the house. Oh, I think it was just for trash that day. Well, no, I had to put the forks in when I pulled that back. There was a pallet that I had to move all the stuff in the barn.
Okay.
Usually, it was above it, double it, so all that trash goes in the barn.
Okay. You said you pulled it up to the house, can you describe that to us?
I think I pulled up behind the house, I think I had to grab my damn sheet, my little sheet, for sure. I know I took the loader around, the dry sprayer was started, I know I got the JCB, the loader, pulled around by the house, and I run in, I had to grab something out of the house, and I run back out, got the loader, back out, put the forks on it.
And what did you see in the house when you had run back in there? JCB.
Still sleeping.
Okay, still asleep. And at this point, it seems like a silly question. Was anyone else on the property or in the house? Okay. And
It's still about 6:30.
that was my next question. How long had it been? Okay.
It's about 6:30 now. To that point, maybe close to 6:37. Got time running around moving and starting to spray her up. You know, it's running, kind of loud. We're able to load it, pull out the paddle, forks.
Okay. Good then. Doesn't mean to help me, just because I don't talk farm talk. When you say, you leave the house, you go and just show me, I think I know, show me where the dogs are. Okay, and then you jump in the Kubota?
Well, you just set one here by the house.
Okay. I was gonna ask which field you're referring to. That was- Okay. Okay.
See how wet it is.
Okay. And is that common for the farmers to check the grass each morning, and that's just part of what you do, so you know what's gonna do? Okay, okay. And then where was the sprayer parked? Is that where? Okay. And you started and you there while you're loading everything else up, you said those up air, is that so, like, little air and spray?
Well, suspension goes up those there.
Which started, okay. And where was the JCB part?
JCB inside one here.
Okay. And you said you pulled it up to the house, can you show me?
Pull out here, pull around this way, pull up over here. Grab what I need in the house and back down here. Stuff out the barn.
Okay, you want to make some notes on here with you, is that okay? She said this is the Kubota?
Yeah.
Could you just draw an X for the Kubota bus? You got a better pen anywhere? Might work. Oh, really?
Conservative took it. They won't let me have to fix it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna try something else. No. I've been not looking at the book, I came back, I had come out and rinse. If I had to rinse, it'd be an hour. If I didn't rinse out, if I looked at half an hour, 45 minutes, I might get all the chemicals. The sprayer's in here, JCB's here, I come up here, got some stuff out of the building in front here, took back, measured it out, because it's an ounce, so it's a little bottle, so you gotta really measure the shit out, right? Put the sprayer, and I pulled out.
Okay.
I mean, it should be on the camera, use the camera, and they go to the bar, will show you pulling it out of the sprayer.
Okay, and specifically with the JCB, I think this is the most question I have to ask that's out there. So the Justice for Dee crew, at the time, I think the adult children were at the park and seen the JCB tracks, and that's why they had asked you why you pulled up to the house. Is that accurate?
They didn't ask me.
Oh,
You say
that's
that they asked me?
correct.
They didn't ask me to pull the house.
Okay. Okay, that was understanding, because the JCB tracks were for the Hummer's park. Is that news to you?
Used to be, it was parked out front.
Yeah, so,
And then I pulled it on back around behind the house later that day, and I pulled it up next to the grass where I was parking.
right. So when they had seen the Hummer, you already moved back to the house, and the JCB tracks were underneath it.
Oh, probably,
Okay.
probably,
And that's from when you pulled up to the house?
yeah.
Okay. And the
Yeah,
JCB?
yeah, the JCB, I pulled up there, the Hummer was out front, and never leave anything out front, because I wasn't gonna mess with leaving the keys and everything.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I jumped in the Hummer, pulled back around the house, and I pulled it over next to the grass and parked it.
In the normal spot, essentially?
Well, normal spot's the garage, but we've been parking it outside because I think she had something else in the garage with her caddy, or she parked in the middle of her caddy. So I just pulled it over next to the grass, was out of way, because the rest of the area there is where the rest of us park. You know, park my pickups there, Jared, or whoever pulls in, that's where they park.
Okay. So you had got the JCB, pulled back into the house, because you grabbed your sheet or something, and you get back in and you go back to the barn floor of the sprayer. And when you're in the house, she's sleeping. Right, okay. So how did the Hummer get from behind the house to the office?
In that morning,
Yeah.
it was there when I came back, that's where the other one was sitting out front.
Okay. Where was it when you left?
When I left, it was on my house. I think it was I don't remember,
Okay.
seeing the Hummer, I mean, it's a lot, I don't
Okay.
remember. But I do remember driving it from in front of the office, and parking back behind the house, because we never leave anything on my roof.
Okay. So it was behind the house when you left?
I don't remember. I don't.
Okay.
Well, I guess easier when you left to go to Brooks or wherever. I wasn't parked in front of it.
I don't remember seeing it out there. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I don't remember sitting up there. I was almost think I didn't look that way. I mean, I can tell you where a piece of our machine is. I can't tell you where the Hummer's at. It's just not something that I'm paying attention to.
Okay. So then you get in the sprayer, you go down to Leroy's, and you spray, you said, how many acres at 10?
I think it was 10.
10 acres?
I mean, look, that.
Okay. And you come back, and then what happens?
I think I had to flush out. There wasn't a nice spray.
just listen, there's absolutely no doubt you access the cameras. If you were just looking for your wife, then just say you're just looking for your wife. I don't
I was
understand.
looking for my wife, but I didn't access the security cameras anymore.
You have access to them on your phone, correct?
Yes, if it'll work, it would not work.
Okay, so when you tried to access the cameras, what were you doing?
I was looking to see who was in the office, and Dee was on the cameras.
Okay, so you're just looking for Dee, that's all I was trying to get.
Yeah, looking for Dee, you know, see where she's at, but I already figured she's at Zach's house, but.
Okay, and, that's specifically from your phone, that's what you're attempting to do, right? Okay, and is that, I think it's called Milestone? Milestone? Is that an app you typically have problems with? I'm not familiar with it, is it?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay. What are you supposed to be able to do from the app?
You're supposed to be able to see the cameras and see what's going on in all the cameras.
Okay. And how often do you try to use it?
I would try to look at it, on and off. I'll look every day, once a week or something, I look at it.
And what percentage of the time do you think it works?
5-10%.
Not too good of a track
No,
record.
I mean, if you're in the office, and you wanna look at the camera system, when you're in the office, it'll work. If you're in the house, it'll work. Everywhere else, it don't work.
Okay.
Because you got internet access, I guess, go with your phone, you shouldn't have to, and it don't work.
And do you have any other issues with your phone, or is it through with that app, do you think? It's the application itself?
I don't know, your phone's, always have a glitch, you know, a lot of stuff don't work.
But by and large, it's this application that gives you issues. Okay. Do you pretty much carry your phone with you at all times?
Most of the time.
Okay. Specifically that Sunday, you had your phone with you all day?
I'm pretty sure I have it with my phone.
Okay.
The only time you know is if you drop it somewhere, or backtrack, try to find it.
Yeah, you and me both. And that Sunday, do you remember about what time Stephanie called you to ask where he was?
I was thinking it was around 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Okay. And until that point, as far as you knew, she was at home, right? Okay.
I think I texted her, telling her I was working, so that she could know over there.
Okay. But until then, things are normal. You don't know any different, right? Essentially. Okay. And then, what were you doing? Okay. Why did you access the Cadillac that morning? What did you go to the Cadillac for in the garage?
It's just a cat.
You accessed the Cadillac. You couldn't do what you done that. I'm not
Unless
sure.
there's something in it, I had to get out of the car.
I'm not sure.
If I opened the door, I got it out, but I didn't. She's got a key.
I'm not saying you drove it. I'm just saying you accessed it for some reason. No recall why. Okay.
Access it, I got it in the evening.
All
I was
right.
like looking at it on my app on my phone.
I'm not certain what you did physically with the vehicle, but you had access to the car.
Well, because I probably looked at my phone to see where it was at.
Okay.
That would be access to it.
Okay. I'm not familiar with what you can do with that.
And then OnStar, I mean, I see OnStar button on my phone, it tells me where it's at.
Okay. And
Tell us about that.
Yeah, tell us about that. I'm not familiar with that.
Just the OnStar, I mean, you have the OnStar app on your phone, you can start the car, lock it, to your phone.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I just look at the button, and tell me what car it's at, it's in the garage.
Okay. And for what purpose were you doing that morning?
It's only when it's not there, I want to see the car's there.
Okay. So you would have accessed that app and it tells you where the car is, and that's why you would have done it to see where she was.
Yeah, see my car's, if the car's almost, so she can go.
Okay. And what about when you tried to locate her iPhone? For what purpose was that?
See what she's at.
Same thing.
Everybody was trying to find her on iPhone.
Okay. Okay. And it had been described to us that when things weren't comfortable between the two of you, she didn't like you knowing where she was. Did she know you had access to those things at the time?
So,
Was that ever a point of contention in recent times? We know overall there have been disagreements about that, but about leading up to this incident. Okay.
I mean, she knew where I was at, but she could access my phone.
Okay.
It's kind of safety, but if I don't, she can't get a hold of me, she can find my phone, see where I'm at, and murder, you know, what she knew, same murder, find her.
Okay. questions on Sunday?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, so during the course of that interview, you had the defendant draw on something. What was that?
It was a aerial view, a satellite image of the Munger farm.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 124, and we are going to, okay, we're going to switch it out on the iPad. I'm going to have you get it out, though. Exhibit 124. And is that the exhibit I've handed you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was the point of that exercise?
The intention of reviewing this with Mr. Warner was to have him specifically mark where he parked the front end loader on 425, the morning of 425.
Okay. If I recall correctly, you had him draw 4 different X's on this map. Do you recall what the other X's were for?
Yes, there's one X in the very top right-hand corner that was to get the pen to work. There is one X directly north of the house where he indicated that he parked the front end loader. The other 2 X's.
Hold on, I'm gonna have you stop. So you said directly north of the house?
So in the image, you can see a white car
Yes.
north of the house. There is an X to the right of that.
Okay,
That is where he indicated that he parked the front end loader.
okay. And do you recall what the other 2 X's are?
The other 2 X's are, I asked him miscellaneous questions about where he picked up the side-by-side from and where the front end loader was initially parked.
Okay. And why are you asking these questions?
The other 2 questions, honestly,
Had you reviewed some of the stuff, but not all of the discovery in the case or the evidence that had been gathered so far?
I had reviewed probably in the high 90% of everything, if not everything in its entirety.
Okay, so why do you care where the JCB was parked that morning?
It was observed, there were tire tracks observed from the front end loader. And when asked about it, Mr. Warner later explained that he returned to the house in the front end loader.
Okay.
Where this X is marked and where those tracks were is also where the Hummer is typically parked and where it was parked that day. His statements were that Dee must have moved the Hummer to the office, but he states when he returns to the house in the front end loader and parks in this spot that she's inside sleeping. So then it begs the question of these 2 objects cannot be in the same place at the same time, which means the Hummer must have already have been moved when he pulled up to the house.
Okay. And you asked about a number, 3 other items. So first you asked about the, I believe the milestone.
Yes.
What was that?
Milestone is the application used to access the surveillance cameras on the Munger property.
Okay. And Find My iPhone, what's that?
Find My iPhone is an application. If you're granted permission between different Apple products, you can look at their geographic location on a map.
And the My Cadillac app, what's that?
That is another application offered by General Motors and or OnStar in which you can do a variety of things, including looking up the geographic location of a vehicle.
Why are you asking these questions?
All of those applications were accessed by Mr. Warner that morning, and they were all done prior to when he states that she realizes she's missing.
Prior to when he realizes she's missing?
He's very consistent in that the first time he knows that she's missing is when he receives a phone call at approximately 10:30. However, he accessed all of these applications, in his words, to find her well before he knows that she's missing.
Okay. So after you do this interview, you kind of continue this investigation for a couple years, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And again, we're going to get into the rest of the details of that investigation at a later point in time. I want to focus right now on August 16th of 2024. What happened on that day?
On August 16th of 24, I executed a search warrant to look for anhydrous ammonia tanks at a property on Paragon Road.
Okay. Were there two properties that were searched for anhydrous tanks?
Yes, there was also property searched on Carson, just north of Munger, a kitty corner from the Munger property.
Okay. I'm going to show you a handful of exhibits, sir. First, Exhibit 90. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Okay, where's that location?
That is at the barn I searched on Paragon Road.
Okay, and was this photograph taken August 16th, 24?
Yes.
Exhibit 91. What's this?
This is at the same location. This photo was also taken on that date.
Okay. 92.
The same thing, ma'am, on Paragon Road, also taken on that date.
Okay. 93.
This is outside of that barn, the same location, also taken on that date.
Exhibit 94.
The same, ma'am.
Exhibit 95.
The same.
Same date and location?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Exhibit 96.
Same date and location, ma'am.
Okay. Exhibit 97.
Same date and location, just outside of the barn.
Okay. Exhibit 98.
Same date and location inside of that barn.
Exhibit 99.
Same date and location on the outside of the barn.
Okay. Exhibit 100. Okay. What's this?
This is inside of a separate portion of the barn, taken on that same date at that same location on Paragon Road.
Did you make observations on this tank?
Yes, initially it stood out because all of the other tanks were outside and or in the open portion of the barns by one another. However, this tank was by itself in this area.
Okay. Did you make any other observations?
Yes. On the in this image, what would be the back or the left-hand side of the tank, there was a non-factory weld visible from the outside.
Okay. Exhibit 105, I'm going to have you look at that. Is that one of the welds you were just discussing?
Yes, this is that back end of the tank. Obviously, this is the top of the picture is the top end of the tank.
All right. Exhibit 73. Is this another portion of the weld that you observed?
Yes, so this would be the bottom of the tank, and or if you're going from top to bottom, a continuation going downward from the previous photo.
Okay. I'm going to show you Exhibit 101. What's this?
This was a handwritten note that was wire tied to the valve on top of the tank.
Okay. When you say the tank, are you referring to tank 34 that was in Exhibit 100 that you just detailed?
The previous photos, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm going to hand you Exhibit 102. You still have the scissors?
Yes, ma'am.
They don't know that we need it open until the jury wants to speak. Okay, what is Exhibit 102?
This is that tag that's pictured in this image.
Okay, is there a writing on both sides of that tag?
Yes.
Okay. Exhibit 103. What's this?
This is the same tag as a previous image, just depicting the writing on the other side of it.
All right. Exhibit 104.
This is just an overview of that portion of the tank. You can see that tag on the right-hand side.
Okay. And again, all of these photographs were taken on August 16th, 2024.
Yes.
Okay. After you made those observations, what did you do with that tank?
I contacted a tow truck company, and I escorted it to the Ambassador Bridge for an x-ray.
I'm going to have you look at Exhibit 106. And is that the image you received from the Ambassador Bridge?
That's correct.
Again, this was on that same date that you observed the other tanks, 8/16/2024?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Based on this x-ray, what did you do next?
I escorted the tank to the Michigan State Police Crime Lab in Northville for some preliminary evidence collection. From there, it was escorted to the Monroe Post for secured storage until we could make arrangements to open it the next day.
Okay. And did you in fact open it the next day?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to have you look at Exhibit 107. What's that?
That is that same, actually, that is the opposite end of the tank that I observed the non-factory weld on. We cut basically a window into the tank so we could take some images and gather some, an idea of what was inside of it before we continued cutting it open.
Okay. And this was on August 17th, 2024?
Yes.
All right. What did you observe when you placed that camera inside there?
With the light that I'm holding, you can see inside of the tank that there was something wrapped inside of a blue tarp.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 108. Is that what you observed in there?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you made that observation, what did you do?
Once we gathered some videos and photos of it, we then continued opening the tank, essentially almost like a cigar cut, removing that end that we made that pilot hole on.
Okay. And then what?
Once it was open, we were able to remove the object that was wrapped inside of the blue tarp.
Okay. And what was the object inside the tarp?
It was human remains.
What did you do with the human remains?
The remains were escorted to the medical examiner's office to have an autopsy performed.
Do you know if there were any chemicals inside that tank?
Yes.
All right. Describe to me if you can estimate an amount of chemicals in there.
Laying along the bottom of the tank, there may have been a ½ inch to an inch of what smelled like ammonia.
What about the tank? What was done with the tank?
From there, the tank was escorted to more long-term storage until it could be evaluated at another date.
Okay. Was that tank processed?
Yes.
All right. Was it processed on the 17th or a different day?
It was processed by lab personnel on the 16th and 17th.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I would be tendering Detective Dreer to Ms. Charday with the understanding that I am calling him back to actually get into the details of the investigation at a later point.
All right, Ms. Shardy.
Thank you. Detective Lieutenant Drewer, my understanding is you are going to be coming back to the stand and testifying next week? Is that accurate? That's your understanding as well? Okay,
I don't know
great.
for the question. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, sure. I should have a question mark at the end. Is it your understanding, having just heard Ms. Wise, that you are going to be testifying next week as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to save my questions for next week. I don't want to bifurcate them. Okay, thank you, sir.
Can I ask counsel to approach briefly? Okay, so I've had a brief discussion with counsel at the bench. It's my understanding that both sides are in agreement with holding off on any questions from the jurors until Detective Dreer has been back to finish his testimony. Is that accurate?
That's correct, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Detective Dreer, you can step down.
Should take these exhibits, Judge.
You can take those with you. Yes. All right, so at this point, we will take a recess. I think there's some technology we need to set up in the courtroom for the next witness, so we will do that, and we'll bring the jury back in when we're ready to proceed. Anything we need to address outside the presence of the jury at this point?
Yes, Your Honor. The court previously ruled on a motion for a protective order regarding the autopsy photos. I would ask to amend the order. We want to be able to show the jury the autopsy photos while Dr. Cho testifies. However, we do not want those photographs to be publicized, recorded, or anything, any photographs live streamed, nothing. So we would ask for a protective order over that.
Okay, Ms. Chartier.
We're in agreement with that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, the court is permitted by MCR 2.302C, which applies to criminal cases, through MCR 600.001D to issue protective orders to prevent annoyance, embarrassment, or oppression. Based on my prior review of the photographs that are the subject of the people's motion, the court finds that unauthorized proliferation of these images would constitute a significant and irreparable injury to the victim's family based on the nature of those photographs. So I am going to grant that protective order. The decision, I believe, is further grounded in the court's inherent supervisory power over its own records and files to prevent them from becoming a vehicle for improper purposes, as was recognized by the Supreme Court in Nixon versus Warner. I am mindful that this is not a FOIA proceeding. The dignitary privacy interest of survivors has been recognized in National Archives and Records Administration versus Favish, another United States Supreme Court case, which established a compelling interest that the court must weigh against the public's right of access. Again, although that court involved analysis under the Freedom of Information Act, the interest identified by the Supreme Court in that case remains a compelling factor in this case. That interest is further reflected in the public policy of the state of Michigan as codified by the legislature in MCL 333.2855A, which restricts the public display of autopsy photographs except under limited and controlled circumstances. To balance these interests and pursuant to the court's authority under MCR 8.115 to manage a courtroom and conduct and recording, at this point I am going to order that while the autopsy photographs are available for public viewing as presented in open court, that the physical or digital copying, scanning, or reproduction of these exhibits by any member of the media or any member of the public is prohibited. No person shall use any camera, recording device, or any device of any kind to capture these images while they are being displayed in the courtroom. I don't believe this order is a prior restraint on reporting, as the media remains free to describe evidence and testimony in detail. I think this is narrowly tailored on the reproduction and distribution of sensitive judicial records, which are intended to protect the privacy of the survivors while maintaining the transparency of these criminal proceedings. So that will be the court's order with respect to the autopsy photographs. Anything else we need to address at this point?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
No, thank you.
Okay. We'll take, well, I'm not quite sure how long this break will be because we'll need to set up the screens for the jury.
Thank you. May we approach?
You may. Step out for just one more. I'll be right back. Okay. Are we ready to bring the jury in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
You may be seated.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You can see we've reconfigured things a little bit. That's because the next witness's testimony will be kind of photograph intensive. So, Ms. Wise, you can call your next witness.
The people would call Dr. Patrick Cho.
And before you sit down, I'll ask you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
I do.
Okay, you can sit down.
Good afternoon. Can you please state your full name and spell it for the record?
Yes, good afternoon. Patrick Cho, C-H-O.
And what's your occupation?
I'm a deputy medical examiner,
And where are you a deputy medical examiner at?
Oakland County,
How long have you been doing that?
2007.
You've been in the same place since 2007?
I've been at Oakland County on and off since 2007. I have been a contract medical examiner for Jackson County since then, and most recently Lenawee and Hillsdale County after Dr. Bader Casson passed away. But I also do cases in Bay, Midland, Tuscola, Iosco, and Aranet counties.
Okay. And you've been a medical examiner since 2007, though. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. Approximately how many autopsies do you think you've performed?
Well over 6,000 at this point.
Okay. Have any of those autopsies you performed been related to homicides?
Yes.
Have you ever been admitted as an expert in any courts in the state of Michigan?
Yes.
Have you ever been denied that?
No. Over 200 times in federal circuit and district courts in 11 different counties.
All right. At this time, Your Honor, I'd move to admit Dr. Patrick Cho as an expert in forensic pathology.
We leave it to the court's discretion. Thank you.
All right, I will so certify Dr. Cho.
On August 20th, 2024, did you perform an autopsy on Dee Ann Warner?
Yes.
How did you identify her body?
So the body was, it was presumed at that point on August 20th. The dental identification came later, verification of Dee Ann Warner. So that's how it was.
Okay, so on August 20th, 2024, you presumed it was Dee Ann Warner, but at a later point in time, you were able to confirm it through dental records?
Correct.
All right, and do you know how long that took to confirm the identity?
Offhand, I don't.
All right. When you did the autopsy, I noticed you did an external examination and an internal examination. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the external exam observations first. Just give me a brief overview of what you observed when you received her body.
Sure. The body was enclosed in a body bag, as is normal. Once the body bag was opened, the body was actually wrapped in 2 polyethylene tarps that were secured with duct tape. So that was the initial exposure to the body.
Okay. Did you unwrap those two tarps?
Yes.
Okay. What did you observe when you unwrapped those?
There was the body of an adult female. The legs were bound with duct tape. The arms were bound to the torso with duct tape. There was duct tape over the nose, mouth, part of the head. And then there was brown, kind of red debris, sludge.
Did the body have any clothing on it?
There were what appeared to be pajamas, top and bottom, and underwear.
When you say appeared to be pajamas, what do you mean?
They looked like just standard ladies' pajamas, but because of the dirt and red, maybe they were light sweats. I don't know,
Okay.
but I thought they were pajamas. So.
Okay. Did you, was there any jewelry on the body of Miss Warner?
Yeah, there were 2 metal posts with clear stones in the right and left ears. Pardon me. And there was a metal ring with clear stone on the right 4th finger.
Did you observe any injuries to the body of Miss Warner?
Once the tape over the head, face, and neck and arms were removed, there were contusions on the right and left cheeks, lateral aspect of the left eye, contusion on the left shoulder. I believe that was it. No, there was a small contusion on the back of the head as well, the scalp.
Did you observe any internal injuries?
Once we completed our external examination, we proceeded with an internal examination, standard Y incision, opening up the abdominal and chest cavities, and then the head. There were obvious blunt force injuries of the left temporal parietal scalp regions and on top of the skull. There were subdural hemorrhages over the brain, so that's indication of blunt force injury. There were contusions about the tongue, not contusions, but bruises about the tongue, and there were petechial hemorrhages on the epiglottis. Yeah.
You use the term epiglottis.
So that's why I was looking at if you wanted me to
I
explain.
do need to know, yes.
The epiglottis is cartilage tissue that overlays, while we're talking here, it's in an upright position, but as we chew and swallow food or drink water, it'll close over the windpipe so we don't aspirate. So that's what that was.
Okay. And you use the term contusions. What does that mean?
So bruising, another way of putting
Okay, hemorrhaging.
hemorrhaging within the muscle, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you some exhibits and kind of have you walk me through what you observed. I'm going to have you get in front of, does that microphone,
You can pull that out.
This?
Yes.
and it doesn't project your voice, it only records, so just make sure you speak into that, please.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have you stand in front of at least this screen over here.
This one here?
Yep, please. And then I'm going to pull up photographs, and when you need to point to something to identify it, just let me know, and I will put a laser on here. All right, I'm going to start with exhibit.
Sorry, I'll speak up.
Your Honor, Dr. Cho may need to move a little bit away just so the,
Here.
yep, thank you.
I'm going to first start with exhibit 127. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
That's the body within the tarp as we received it with the duct tape.
Okay, before you removed it?
Correct.
All right. Exhibit 128.
That's with the tarp being removed from the body and the duct tape around the body.
129.
Same thing.
Okay. In this one, you can see the top half of her body as well.
Yes. The head is here.
Okay. 130.
This is with the body bag, the tarp removed, and just the duct tape around the ankles and lower legs.
131.
This is the head, the top of the head, and there's duct tape over the nose and the mouth here.
132.
This is just with the duct tape removed. The teeth, I think prominence of the nose is here.
133.
This is a cleaned up photo of the head once we've removed the bag and all of the debris. You can start to see some contusions around the right eye, left cheek.
Your Honor, is it okay if I ask if everybody can see that clearly, or if I need to point anything on the, we're good? Okay. Exhibit 134.
This is just a same kind of area that's being photographed, but from the left side. So you can see better the contusions that are on the left side of the cheek and the lateral aspect of the left eye.
Exhibit 135.
Left shoulder, there's a contusion on the left shoulder.
136.
Just a panned out shot of the shoulder and the head.
137.
This is the back of the head, and there's an area of contusion that I was pointing to earlier on myself here.
Exhibit 142.
This is an anterior, so front view of the head and neck with the head kind of pulled back. This area is a contusion and abrasion on the anterior part or front of the neck.
Exhibit 144.
This is the metal ring with clear stones I was talking about on the right fourth finger.
And I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you say on the right?
Right.
Right hand, okay.
Pardon.
Okay, no, it's okay. I'm going to move to the internal injuries. I'm going to have you look at exhibit 138.
So this is the top of the head with the scalp reflected back, and we're seeing the top of the skull. This area here is a contusion that's on the skull, so we call that a subgaleal contusion. This is on the undersurface of the scalp, so that's a subcutaneous contusion. More of the same on the back of the head as well.
139.
This is the right side of the head, showing very much the same thing. So on the surface of the skull, there's some contusion, and then on the undersurface of the scalp, there are contusions in that area.
$140.
Just a close-up on the left side, really highlighting the hemorrhage that's on the surface of the skull, as well as on the undersurface of the scalp, all indicative of blunt force injury.
141.
This is with the top of the skull removed. This is the surface of the brain, and there's all this residual subdural hemorrhage. So there's been bleeding on the surface of the brain from blunt force injury.
143.
So the epiglottis that I had talked about before, that flap, this is the epiglottis here. And what you'll notice are these petechial hemorrhages here. Those hemorrhages shouldn't be there. And there's also bruising on the back of the tongue, as I had mentioned, and around the areas, but that's the petechial hemorrhages.
So you use the word petechial hemorrhaging. What does that mean in layman terms?
So petechiae are just pinpoint hemorrhages that occur when there's been intense pressure. And we're talking about the vascular system here. So vessels are carrying blood, and when constricted or compressed, it's just like a hose. The water or the fluid is going to want to go to the path of least resistance. So in this case, the blood will go to the smaller arteries until there's, and vessels until there's an endpoint, and then there's nowhere to go, so it'll burst. And that's what gives us those petechial hemorrhages.
When you discussed the bruising under the scalp on the left side,
Yes.
and had the scalp pulled back to look at it?
Yes.
Okay. Would those injuries necessarily cause the skin to break open?
Not necessarily.
Okay. And tell me about the internal, I'm going to go ahead and have you can take the stand again, and if I need to show you an additional picture, I will. So the photograph of it's Exhibit 141, where the brain bleed that you described. How does that happen? Like, right? How is there a blood on the brain in between is it in between the skull and where is that located?
So the brain, our brains are covered by dura. It's fibrous tissue. And there are small bridging veins between the surface of the brain and the dura that go through the dura. So when there's blunt force injury to the head, strong enough to tear those bridging veins, that's what will give us that subdural hemorrhage. So it's a subdural, meaning sub, under the dura, but on top of the surface of the brain. I don't know if that was clear.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is there anything about that injury, the brain bleed, that you saw evidence that it would bleed outside of the scalp, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no. So there were no skull fractures. So no, it would stay contained in that space.
Okay. Were you able to determine a cause of death in this case?
Yes.
And what was that?
Strangulation and multiple blunt force injuries of head and face, I guess.
Okay, so you came to two separate causes of death?
They both contributed, yes.
Okay, could either one of them independently have caused her death?
Yes.
Were you able to determine the manner of death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Homicide.
Did you also do toxicology in this case?
Yes.
Was there any evidence of oxycodone in Miss Warner's body?
No.
As a result of doing the autopsy on Miss Warner, are you required to sign a death certificate?
The chief medical examiner signs the death certificate.
Okay.
I author a report.
All right. And who is the chief medical examiner in Lenawee County?
Dr. John Maino. M-A-I-N-O.
Okay.
Sorry.
And was, oh, thank you. Was one done in this case?
Yes.
Were you able to determine, well, let me ask you this. CSI, Law and Order, you know, they'd have you believe when you find a body, within 20 minutes, you know the exact date and the exact time of death. Is that how that works?
No.
Okay, can you explain that to me? How do you determine date of death?
A lot of it it's multifactorial. It's based on investigation, last known alive, body condition, all of that.
Okay, and in this case, People's Exhibit 259, oh, you can't see that, can you?
I can walk up. Should I go?
No, I'm going to come to you. I try to move it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, death certificate. Yes.
Is there cause or the date of death on there?
Date pronounced is August 17th.
It's
Date
up
of
here, you
death.
can't see.
Oh, it's scrolled up. Yep. On or about April 25th, 2021. Yep.
I'm gonna ask you that again since I'm back here.
Yep.
So the date of death on the death certificate,
Is on or about April 25th, 2021.
was there anything about the condition of Miss Warner's body that made you believe she could not have died on or after April 25th, 2021?
No.
Okay. She looked a little bit, when I look at the pictures, you know, I'm kind of shocked to see the way her feet are bound, you know. She looks somewhat fairly well preserved. Can you tell me why that's not a concern for you?
No, I mean, it was a sealed tank. There was presumably little to no oxygen in it since it's an ammonia tank, anhydrous. So if it was water, H2O, there's your oxygen source that would speed up decomposition, but didn't seem to be any of that. So.
Okay, and why does it matter, so the oxygen would speed up decomposition?
Yep, I mean, ammonia will too, but obviously at a slower rate.
Okay. The lack of oxygen, again, would lead you to not question her date of death as being April 25th, 2021 or later?
No.
Okay. I have nothing further.
We're going to make our way back over.
Okay.
Thank you. No, there's nothing else there. Dr. Cho, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mary Chartier. I represent Mr. Warner, and I have some questions for you this afternoon. So I want to pick up where you left off, where you were talking about the date of death was on or about April 25th, 2021. And you said two things factor into that determination, an investigation and then the body condition. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the investigation entails what? Is it people telling you the last time I saw her was this day or this time? How does the investigation factor in?
Sure. That information is presented to me usually by law enforcement. Last known alive, reporting as such. So we're not an investigative entity. So that's why we rely on outside sources.
If someone hadn't told you that, if someone had not told you the last time that Ms. Warner was seen alive was roughly April 24th or April 25th, 2021, what would you have determined the date of death to be?
I'm not sure I understand that.
Sure. So let's imagine that this body was found, no one knows who she is.
Right.
Right. And so you don't have any law enforcement officer telling you anything about last time seen.
I see.
What would you determine the date of death to have been?
Yeah, for me, I would have to say unknown.
So the body condition of Ms. Warner, independent of the investigation, would not give you a date, a month, a year?
No.
Okay, thank you. So that was my question. And then you indicated in your analysis that the time of death was unknown. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And that's because you can't tell that by the body condition.
Correct.
And also that the place of death was unknown, correct?
Correct.
And that's because you can't tell that, again, based on your analysis and the body condition.
Correct.
You had indicated that there can be two causes of death, strangulation and then blunt force trauma, correct?
Correct.
Can you tell what was the cause of death or both contributed to death?
Both contributed.
Both contributed.
Yes.
Now, with strangulation, there may be a loss of bodily fluids. Is that accurate?
Possibly, yeah.
And that would be, for instance, urine or bowels, correct?
Correct.
With blunt force injury, you indicated that the brain bleed would not cause external bleeding, correct? Or am I wrong about that?
No, I think the question I was answering was, what I thought I was answering was, a subdural hemorrhage, would there necessarily be an external source of bleeding or bleeding from that? So, as I said, you can get a subdural hemorrhage without a skull fracture.
So
I'm not sure I'm answering your question.
So that's okay. I will ask maybe a more particular question. With the injuries that you noted on Ms. Warner, could any of them have caused external bleeding?
So can you specifically cite which injury you're referring to?
Any injury on her body, any contusion,
Sure.
any injury.
So any of the contusions that are visible, there could be external bleeding.
And with the brain bleed, or the strangulation, is there any chance, for example, of bleeding from the nose, from the mouth, anything like that?
I suppose it's possible.
Do you know the instrument that caused the blunt force trauma?
No.
Moving on to the body, when you examine the body, was there an odor emanating beyond what you would expect with body decomposition?
Sure.
And what was that?
Ammonia.
Was it overpowering?
At times, yes.
And that odor might sound like a basic question. That is not a natural odor that a person has when they pass away. That, you believe, was a chemical from inside the tank?
Well, if an individual, so if I were to pass away in a house that's abandoned and somebody comes upon me later, there would be a strong smell of ammonia from that. But in this case, with the environment of the tank, there's no way to discern. I'm not sure I'm asked.
No, you are. That was it. So the overpowering at times ammonia odor, you don't know if that was from Ms. Warner, the anhydrous ammonia in the tank, or a combination of both?
It's more than likely from the tank.
More than likely from the tank.
Yeah.
From the chemicals in the tank?
Absolutely.
And then because of the ammonia, in looking at your analysis, there was tissue breakdown due to prolonged exposure to ammonia?
Some, yes.
And some facial features and landmarks were also absent because of the prolonged ammonia exposure?
Sure, and the tape, yeah.
Do you know what does, are there studies about what prolonged ammonia exposure does to a body?
Not that I know of.
Not that I could find either. I didn't know if you knew any.
No.
And then we saw some red or brown mud-like substance. What was that?
I don't know. I mean, I presume that it might be some dirt mixed with some fluids, but I don't know.
But you, so the answer is you don't know. Setting aside your presumption, you do not know.
Correct.
Now, was there any rigor mortis when you examined Ms. Warner?
No.
Talk to us about that. When does rigor mortis set in?
Generally, after a couple of hours. It should be present under normal environmental conditions for up to, 24 hours. It'll start to break, and then will go away.
What is rigor mortis?
It's the stiffening of our muscles after death.
So if someone is in rigor mortis, can you move their body in terms of like bending it and things like that?
Sure.
And what would that do to the condition of the body?
Nothing.
Would it cause any sort of indication of injury, break a bone, anything like that?
Sometimes. I mean, if you have a really brittle osteoporotic person, it could.
Now, if a body is placed in a certain position when they're in rigor mortis, and then the rigor mortis lapses, what would be the impact of that?
The body would just stay in that position.
The body would stay in that one position.
Correct.
I want to talk to you about the clothing that you had indicated were pajamas, but also indicated it might be a sweatsuit, correct?
Correct.
So what particular pieces of clothing did you find?
Top and bottom, pajamas, and underwear.
And underwear. So are you talking about a bra, or are you talking about underwear?
Underwear.
Underwear. So underwear, so bottoms and top. Was the top crew neck, hoodie? What was the top?
I don't recall.
You don't recall?
No.
Would looking at a photograph help
Sure.
refresh your memory? Ms. Saylor, would you show Dr. Cho 1413, please? And if you could just take it up to him. Well, if you just can show him, let's see. Oh, great. So you're showing 1403. Without my glasses, I put the 0 as a 1. There are some other photographs, if those would be helpful as well, if you'd like to scan through
You're
those.
speaking of the ones on the left of the screen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Did that help refresh your memory?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the top? Do you,
From that, I can't even tell. I mean, it's just hanging down.
okay. So would you like to look at other photographs to help refresh your memory?
Sure.
Ms. Saylor, why don't you show him the photographs? All of them, and see if that helps.
Presumably, these are the pants that are hanging over.
Just let me know when you're ready to go.
Oh, you can go. Yeah, please do. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure. I can't tell where the top part of the clothing is.
Okay, thank you,
It's
Ms.
pretty
Saylor. So the clothing, let me jump back. Was the clothing cut off, Ms. Warner?
It could have been. Sometimes when it's difficult to remove from the body, we will cut.
And so, again, you found underwear, earrings, a ring, a pair of lounge pants. So they could be pajamas, it could be sweatsuit, could be loungewear. You don't know, correct?
Sure.
And then a top that, again, you don't know if it's a crew neck, a hoodie, anything like that, correct?
Correct. I mean, as I said, it looked like a set of pajamas to me, but
Thank you. Now, you talked about doing a toxicology report. What impact would the delay in doing the analysis have on what you could find doing the toxicology report?
well, the laboratory was able to test it, so not much impact at all.
So you didn't do the testing yourself?
No. We will collect samples, and they'll be sent out to a national laboratory, and then we wait for the results.
So you looked at the results, but again, you didn't do the testing, correct?
Correct.
Now, finally, with everything that you did, you identified what you believe to be the causes of death and the manner of death. You don't know who the perpetrator was, correct?
Correct.
I have no additional questions. Thank you, sir.
Again, you've been doing this since 2007,
Yes.
and a common practice is to rely on the investigation when you're dealing with date of death.
Always.
I was a little bit confused because you said it earlier and then again on cross-examination. So you said both the strangulation and the blunt force trauma contributed to her cause of death. What does that mean?
Either could have caused it.
Either independently could have caused her death?
Correct.
Okay. And you were asked if you could determine what type of instrument was used. Is that correct?
Correct.
Does it necessarily, I mean, could it have been a wall or a table or a floor or any of those things?
Yes.
The brownish red substance that was on Miss Warner's body, have you ever seen anything like that?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Thank you, nothing further.
Nothing additional. Thank you.
Okay. We do have one question from the jury, if you would approach. Okay, is it possible that contusions can be from moving the body after death?
No. Do you want me to explain? Or just simply no?
It's a question from the juror, so Ms. Wise, do you have any follow-up based on that question?
I would just follow up and ask him to explain that.
Okay.
So the contusions form because of a vital reaction that we have to that injury. So if I'm dead, die, and somebody smacks my head, my heart isn't beating any blood, so there's no response to that injury.
What about the brain bleed? Is that the same
Same thing.
thing? Okay, thank you.
Nothing additional. Thank you.
Okay, and may Dr. Cho be excused from his seat?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for your time, sir. You are free to go.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think we have another question.
I apologize.
No worries.
Question was being written while we were talking.
Yes. That's okay.
Can you tell if the body was killed inside or outside?
No.
Anything in follow-up to that?
No follow-up, Your Honor.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. You all set with questions from our jurors? Don't see anyone writing, so okay. All right, thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, it is quarter after 4. I don't anticipate you want to start a new witness at this point. Is that
No,
accurate?
Your Honor, thank you.
All right, we will adjourn then to tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I will say for the jury and for everyone else, there is a sentencing hearing tomorrow morning that I expect to take longer than normal. I'll ask you to be here at 9 a.m., but there might be a little bit of waiting in terms of getting that hearing completed, and we will get started as soon as we can. Okay, thank you for your time. Oh, yeah, it's right in front of me. still going to miss it. Oh, Lord. All right, so during the trial, do not read, listen to, or watch any news reports about the case. Under the law, the evidence that you consider to decide the case must meet certain standards. For example, witnesses must swear to tell the truth, and the lawyers must be able to cross-examine them. Because news reports do not have to meet these standards, they could give you incorrect or misleading information that might unfairly favor one side. So to be fair to both sides, please follow this instruction. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay, Ms. Wise, Mr. McCready, I have the photographs if you want those back.
Thank you.
All right, anything else we need to address before we adjourn for the day?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. Court will be in recess.